6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face. Blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
Such sights to show you. We'll tear your soul apart.
Just in the middle of a dream, I was kissing Valentino by a crystal blue Italian stream. But I can't be late, 'cause then I guess I just won't get paid. These are the days when you wish your bed was already made. It's just another manic Monday. It was Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day. I don't have to run day. It's just another manic Monday. I wish it was Sunday, 'cause that's my fun day. It's just another manic Monday.
Woo! God damn it, here we are. What's going on, everybody out there in Death Curse Society world? Welcome to Monday Maniacs. I'm Red Crank. I got Zigzag, and I got the Colonel in a undisclosed location. What up, Colonel?
What's up? Indeed, undisclosed. I'm got my nose to the ground, my ear to the air, trying to find out. I don't know. I can't even think of anything funny to follow that up with. I'm fucking starving. The food just got here, like right before I had to log in. I was like, son of a bitch.
That's always the way it is, man.
You know,
Exactly.
Colonel, now, was that not the worst entrance to the show ever?
As a matter of fact, it was.
I cannot disagree more.
Colonel is
Actually,
on vacation, ladies and gentlemen, like we mentioned last week, and so he's just popping in for a few minutes from probably the plainest wall background I've ever seen in my life.
Oh no, dude, I couldn't fit it in here. Check it out. Beach life.
All right, all was forgiven. That's better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as long
sorry.
as the beach life is there.
Too bad I couldn't do it from the beach like I planned to. Fucking Mother Nature had different plans.
Very nice. Very nice.
Rub it in. You assholes gonna get shit on by a seagull or something. Not gonna happen.
All right. Well, we got the gang all here. Dave is in the house. Tyrone. Tommy Click is in here. Hey, I'm gonna show it just to get it out of the way. I'm gonna mention it now. Hey guys, I'm ready for Freddy's Nightmares. Yeah, no shit, Tommy. We know you're ready.
We didn't forget you, baby. And guess what? Tomorrow is the 20th.
Tomorrow.
So keep your eyes peeled. Hint, hint.
That's right. Stay tuned for that, Tommy. We got Corey in here. He says he's waited all week for DCS. That sounds so disgusting. We wouldn't have it any other way, man. Luke can only reply on YouTube tonight because he's banned for 30 days on both of his Facebook accounts.
Nicely done.
Luke's my hero.
Tanya's here. Seth is here. Seth from the Horror Syndicate. Thanks for tuning in, man. Corey is here. And Angelo says, guys, I'm back.
He's
Angelo.
back. Oh.
Welcome, Angelo.
Let me duck here for a second to give him his due. There you go.
Yeah, check out all Angelo's work back there in the background.
Yes.
Corey says, I'm signing up for Top Dog just to co-host eventually. I want a best of the worst movies ever episode.
Jesus.
We could probably arrange that
I think so. I mean,
once you get into final guy status.
That's something I've thought about a lot, too. So
What? There's another Krabby Patty for me. Come here and say hi with your Krabby Patty in your hand.
They didn't eat them all already?
You know, there's nothing like Monday Maniacs and a Krabby Patty. Hi, Zoe.
Zoe, they say hi. You can't hear because Daddy has headphones.
Oh.
Hi.
All right.
I think
Watch TV. I'll be out there in about 10, 15 minutes, okay?
Colonel, your vacation life is making me a little jealous right now. Good for you, man. You deserve, and out of any of us, you deserve it, brother.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
He works his balls off.
It's amazing. No one from work has contacted me yet about work.
Wow. No question.
for
Hey,
like
quick
another-
question.
Huh?
Hey, quick question. That thing you do when that how do you do that one thing with the none of those?
Now, this is the most unprofessional Monday Maniacs I've ever done. So let me get back over here.
It's all right because like this is a controversial episode from Death
It
Curse.
will be.
Well, I may
It
be
will
on
be.
vacation. Well, I'm never on vacation from DCS. I pop in. You guys know this.
Hell yeah.
I was even advertising today.
I did
got
see
us
that.
any new viewers. I tried, though.
I did see that. Corey also says Colonel's hair wins.
Thanks. It's been under a hat all day.
Dave says, looks like you got a haircut. Woo!
I did. I kind of wish I hadn't. Because there's three things I learned these past few days. The three things are, what are those three things that'll survive a nuclear holocaust? Obviously cockroaches. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently once you get in the South, Family Dollars and Shoney's restaurants. They're fucking all over the place.
All over.
It's scary. Like, I am afraid for my life.
What's the matter with Shoney's, man?
I don't know. They're just fucking everywhere. Apparently they're fucking awesome. I don't know. I never had Shoney's. Never heard of it before.
Shoney's was like the truck stop heaven before truck stops started happening.
The greasy spoon, dude. That's it. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
No, not for you. All right. Oh man, when are you heading back to the homestead, Colonel?
Thursday. Just in time for you guys to have an amazing weekend in Oklahoma.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that more and more and more now because, man, this last few days has been heavy. Heavy.
Some shit going on. I'm sorry. Where did you say we're leaving for in 2 days?
Crank's already there, but you're leaving for Oklahoma.
Oklahoma! Oklahoma! Oh, my ass meat!
Ah, yes.
All right. Let me do the US pitch. It's time to get that out of the way. Thank you guys for watching Death Curse Society. We hope you will follow us on all of our social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course Twitch, and then hit that bell on YouTube for notifications. Not that bell. This bell. Much better. And also make sure to visit our website at deathcursesociety.com, where you can follow all the good stuff that we got going on, even going back to 2.5 years, almost 4 years now. Damn. Coming up on that. Make sure to figure out how to join, become a member. It's kind of like Patreon, except it's through us instead of Patreon. You can be a camp counselor, a crazy Ralph, a final girl, or guy, whatever. And then head over to our shop and check out all the t-shirts and other merch that we got on there. We're dropping some new stuff all the time. I wore the Hearse Cruise tee the other night and got a few compliments on it from some locals around here. And I tell you what, man, I think the locals are more excited to see Zigzag here in the next couple of days than they are me every week.
Well,
irritating, but
hopefully they're ready for extreme disappointment.
Right. And check out our podcast. If you don't follow Death Curse Society, what's going to happen?
Burn in hell.
You'll burn in hell.
No.
I guess I just decided to stop right there. All right. I didn't do it.
It's, it's the whole aspect of burning in hell, I guess.
That's
there
true. So, Colonel, what do you know and what do you think about the whole Tony Moran situation before we let you go?
I don't know much. I was out of the loop since Days of the Dead this past weekend. I know Danielle Harris did an impromptu interview with Tony, and I guess she did something before we went on the air tonight. I just kind of vaguely know what he mentioned before, where he's just talking shit about everybody, and Jamie Lee Curtis pretty much blowing everybody to get what she did, and talking about. Here's all it is. I didn't look too much into this because Tony Moran, honestly, who the fuck are you? Let's be honest. You're not Michael Myers, man. Nick Castle is the shape. That's Nick Castle. You're the, what's his name? Gillette Warren. Friday
Warren
Part
Gillette.
2.
Yeah.
Warren Gillette, yeah, whatever. Yeah, you play Jason. Everybody knows Steve Dash is Jason. I mean, that's just the way I look at it. It's like, oh, yeah, whatever, man. Enjoy your 15 minutes of fame we're giving you in the horror world, because who the fuck are you? Just saying.
Even the bit part players, some people want those signatures for those posters, those signatures for those things.
I agree. I do too. But all at the same time, stay in your lane, bro. Like, you know what the fuck you did. Just saying. I know it makes it sound stupid, but it's like,
yeah. Well, we are going to completely break this down, and I'm not kidding. I got. You can't see it, but I got a full page of notes here, and it's going to be. And then Zigzag has like 6 things that he wants to say.
I got a half page, but I write small, so I mean.
Right. Oh, okay. Yep. Thanks, Lorena. Yeah. I love the fact that everyone is just wooing and awing about, Colonel's haircut. Colonel cut off like an inch or 2, but no one said anything about the 3 feet that I took off my hair.
Yep. Look at him.
Holy shit, you did cut it.
He's a soccer mom now.
Lorena says, "Holy shit, where's your hair?" Sorry, I'm in shock.
I feel sorry for the first waitress that gets his order wrong at a restaurant.
Oh,
I'd like to speak to your manager.
Yeah, man.
No, I do this every 3 or 4 years and just try to start new. It'll be back down middle of my back in a month. But what's funny about my hair is it will grow really fast that first 2 months and then stop. Like almost done. Like that's it. So,
Yeah, well, must be nice. The fields just do not yield on my fairway anymore. So, what can I say?
Yeah, Ziggy, when are you going to get a haircut next?
Yeah, Zag.
Tomorrow, actually.
Assholes. Well, Colonel, you want to go eat and take care of the kids and all that? So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying the break. This is the most quiet I've gotten in like 3 days.
Well, fuck, man.
I feel like I'm abandoning you guys. This don't feel right. But yeah, this also doing this on a cell phone fucking sucks.
Yeah.
No, I miss my laptop.
Yeah.
Appreciate
and
you
my
checking
background. Huh?
I said we appreciate you checking in, though. I mean, look at this. French.
Le French.
Fantastic.
There's not much you can do to my hair, really. It's just basically you grab it in the ponytail and you whack. And that's it. So.
Oh, the French.
Hold on. We got star of the show is going to make an appearance. I guarantee it. Let's see what she's doing.
Another one. We just got to start diving into this here pretty soon.
Hey,
so.
man, kids and puppies. That's always a winning sell on the TV. So that's.
It is. She even got a little yarn put in her hair today.
I can probably call my dog over here.
All right. Well, before it does crash the party, I guess I should go.
All right.
So thanks for having me on, everybody.
You have a blast on the beach.
I'll try.
And we'll
shit. I fit in around here, man. My dumb ass put sunscreen everywhere but the back of my neck. Kind of feeling it, but I fit in. I've been accepted as one of them somehow.
Well, Colonel, before you go, please let me leave you properly. There.
I feel better after that, even.
I do, man. It's a very satisfying clip.
It is. It's like clockwork, man. All right, later, guys. Later, everybody.
Later, Colonel.
Have a good tune in. And I'll probably be on sometime tonight, hopefully.
Oh, okay.
So we'll try. I packed the PlayStation.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so.
All right, cool. Right. I'm in.
Later, fuckers.
Woo!
Woo! Woo!
The
Colonel, ladies and gentlemen. He's on a beach somewhere that we can't tell you where because we don't want you finding him, like harassing him.
Parts unknown.
Parts unknown. That's right. So, a couple months ago, back in April, Tony Moran had a video posted about him that was put together by a channel called Tony Moran Unmasked, and that's the title of the video as well. Many of you guys have seen it. Many of you guys have reached out to us about it and asked us about it. We kind of ignored it at the time. I can't remember exactly. We chatted briefly about it one Monday Maniacs, I remember. But we didn't go too deep into it. So it was just, one of those things. And since then, it's gotten a lot of heat. A lot of channels, horror channels especially, have reacted to it and given their 2 cents. And 90% of the consensus is, fuck Tony Moran. Kind of like Colonel said. Who the fuck are you? You were in the movie for 30 seconds. Who cares? You're not the Shape. You're not Michael Myers. 3 seconds. I get all that. Okay. But it got resurfaced again this weekend because Danielle Harris did an impromptu Instagram drop, and she's talking to Tony Moran, and it gets brought up again. And then people start jumping on Danielle Harris's case about, wait, why is she defending Tony? And even Dave McRae put out a video saying, she's Team Tony. Well, she responded to that the next night and said she's not Team Tony, but then didn't necessarily say she's disapproving of everything that he said. It was a weird video, but we're going to break all of this down. So we're going to start at the beginning, and we're going back, and we're going to be using a lot of clips from the Tony Moran Unmasked. We want you guys to chime in and ask us questions, give us your interpretation of what he says, because there are some things that, after doing a little digging and after doing a little research, can be misinterpreted. So here's how the video starts, folks.
I am Tony Moran. I played the original Michael Myers in Halloween 1 and 2.
And that's it. It starts like that.
Right away, though, they're
Right.
kind of playing their feelings for it. So this video was made with purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I already know that.
Yes, it was. We'll get into that, but there, and I don't know, we do not know who Tony Moran Unmasked, the channel or the Instagram account, we do not know who that is. We have asked them to join us in the chat room so they can keep their anonymity, but I don't know if they're here yet. If you are, let us know. And we may ask you some direct questions from time to time. So we'd like to do that. Oh, good. Well, Colonel, hush. That's disgusting. I'm not even going to show that. Anyway, so now first off, it starts off with that quote, I believe also for a purpose, because Tony Moran has said, and it's not necessarily fake, it's not necessarily false, but it's not necessarily true either. He says he played Michael Myers in Halloween Part 1 and 2. Okay? He did play Michael Myers, like I just said, for 3 seconds as the mask is being pulled off of him in Part 1. They reuse that footage in the opening of Part 2, and that's it. That's all he did. He shot for 1 day. It was, I think he said 3 takes. Is all they did of that shot and that scene that he was in.
Crank,
And that's it.
I think I can illustrate your point real quick. That scene.
How did I not see this coming?
Well, I move quick. Got to be quick with me over here. See,
I should have known you had that. But him saying he played Tony Moran, or him playing Michael Myers in Halloween 1 and 2 is a little bit misleading. Do you agree, Ziggy?
Well, the way he looks at it, because he does appear in Halloween 2, and that footage, the archive footage. So if you're going to get a credit, you're going to get paid, then he's in Halloween 2. Did he show up on set 3 years later and be in it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But he is in Halloween 2. So he's right there.
All right. So the video starts like that, and then it leads into basically this next clip that I want to show you. This is one of the clips that has gotten a little bit, or quite a bit of backlash from this video.
For me, in 1978, my agent called me up to do an independent horror movie that's only $350,000, and the movie's called Halloween. It's about the corniest thing I ever fucking heard, right? I mean, a horror movie called Halloween, ooh, you know? It's like, fuck you, you know?
You know, a horror movie called Halloween, I mean, that's pretty corny, don't you think? I mean, it's really stupid, you know what I mean? A horror movie called Halloween is pretty stupid, you know? Oh, a horror movie called Halloween, how clever. You know, it's like, you're really stupid, you know?
And all of a sudden I see this fucking billboard with Michael Myers' face in it, and it says Halloween. I'm like, what the fuck? This piece of shit's got a billboard? And I'm like, what the fuck? I thought, why would anybody want to see this shit? Why would anybody want to do it? I mean, it's called Halloween. It's corny. There's a mask in it. It's stupid, you know?
And all of a sudden I look up, and there's this billboard that says Halloween with Michael Myers' face, the mask on. I'm like, what in the what? What?
Yeah.
How could that be? You know, this piece of shit, you know? And remember, I came from Paramount Studios with my little sister. You know, it was all corporate, big time shit, and I wasn't going to lower myself and, you know, doing some fucking stupid ass fucking horror movie, you know, called Halloween. I mean, that's about as, you know, stupid. Full of shit. There's no way Donald Pleasance is in this movie. This guy's a classic British actor. He was in The Great Escape. This guy's a classic British actor. You're gonna tell me he's in this piece of shit? I'm doing a movie with Donald Pleasance at least, even though it's like one step above a soft pornography movie, right?
All right, so let's break down what he said there. First off, one of the most important things to think of when you watch that clip is the way he starts it. He says, when I got this movie in 1978, this is what I thought. Right? Right, Ziggy?
Yeah, 100%. He says, for me. And I'm sure there was more to it, that to finish that thought, to put it in context. But, you know, I get it. This guy is, we were talking about it earlier, Crank and I. He's probably a bully in high school, just a fucking loudmouth, meathead, doesn't have a filter, you know, but probably really fun to have a beer with. You got to see the whole panel, I would say, in its entirety to really get a full spectrum of what the fuck he's saying, in my opinion here, because we're not getting the whole story with these cuts.
Correct. Now, Luke has already jumped on that train. He says, it's easy to take video clips and make someone's opinions or words seem worse than they are by putting a spin on the narrative. At some points here, he's speaking about how he felt 40 years ago. That's my point exactly. Now, you're going to find out later, he hadn't even seen the movie yet. He had been one day on the set, and just based on the fact that it was a cheap movie, $350,000, it was, like he said, slightly above a porn movie because it was a horror movie. You got to remember, in the 70s, that was kind of a real thing. That was a legitimate thing, especially in the Hollywood industry. You can go ahead and name, you know, well, Kevin Bacon became a big star. Jamie Lee Curtis became a big star. You know, you can name all those people. Johnny Depp became a big star. They did horror. You can name all those people. You're naming 5, 6, 10 people out of 70s and 80s horror movies, out of the thousands that were in those movies that became huge stars. So keep that in mind.
I feel like this guy, it's a paying gig. Probably, you know what I mean? He wasn't doing a whole lot. He was around, but he was a paying gig. I don't think he's a horror fan. I don't think he really gets the horror genre based on what he's saying. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little bit more now after he's been around these cons a little bit, but when he's saying these things, I don't think, you know, obviously he's not a fan of the stuff because you could just tell. As you'll hear more, I'm sure there's more examples of him kind of shaming, I'll say it with the quotations, the horror fan, because I'm not really sure he means it that way.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Let me hit some of these comments, though. Andy says he sounds kind of like Mike Tyson at times. See, now I think part of that is just his personality and the way he tells stories, because you'll hear 3 or 4 different voices with it, because he'll be like, what the fuck? And then he's like, what the fuck? You know, and he'll bounce around quite a bit. I think that's just a storytelling technique. I don't know. That's just my idea. Jump Scares TV, thanks for joining us, man, or whoever you are. Honestly, being the face of the original Michael Myers is a big deal. He's what Carpenter envisioned the shape to look like. Moran dropped the ball. I could see that point, yeah. Because he did want, you know, John Carpenter did want an angelic face to portray the adult Michael Myers when he was older, you know, and 21 years old, to kind of match the 6-year-old face. When they took that clown mask off and he's standing there holding the mask and you see that, you know, child standing there with a knife, pretty innocent looking kid, you know, but just did something fucking horrendous. So Yes, jump scares. I get your point. And I'm not trying to make excuses
No.
for Tony Moran whatsoever. Did he say some terrible shit? Yes, and we're going to get into that. But I think some of the things that he's being accused of saying, he is being kind of pigeonholed for. And we'll explain here in a little bit. Corey liked your comment earlier. Yes, Ziggy. He sounds like a troublemaker, maybe, yeah. He's doing a movie with Donald Pleasance. I wonder if he even saw him. He claims to have, but I don't know for sure. Tyrone says, I think he's just misunderstood. Possibly.
I get that too. But
I think there's a lot of that to it as well. But Dave says, he still seems like a douche, though. Edits or not, he seems so full of himself. This is true. That goes back to Ziggy's bully point, though.
Right. It feels like he's absolutely that type of guy where you're fucking wrong no matter what you say. That kind of guy, just real forceful like that. But I mean, still, he's just got that, like just that bumblehead, cement head, fucking lineman, football lineman kind of guy. He's had the look, and he was working in the industry. His sister was on a famous fucking TV show, and he somehow got connected to this fucking thing,
Yeah, but look what being on that TV show did to her life and, career. Anyway, that's a different story altogether.
Yeah.
Lorena says, Sylvester Stallone did porn. Yes, and I have not been able to look at a glass coffee table since the same way. Do not ask questions about that, please. Thank you, FaZe. I'm not going to show that one. I don't want to, get too much of an ego, but thank you, FaZe. Corey says he's a dickhead. All right, fine.
Yeah, I've not met him at any cons yet personally, but I absolutely have a reason to now, and we'll go at him pretty straight, I would say, and to say, so what's up, dude?
Yeah.
I'd ask for an interview right there.
Oh, absolutely we would. Angelo says, hey, respect for Halloween, or you going to get some rotten pumpkins on your bald, squared head. Yeah, probably. I'm surprised he hasn't been pranked at more cons since this came out, but he's only done a couple, I think. I think he got canceled from a few.
That's what I'm saying. The cancel culture's really going after him, and is it justified totally 100%? I don't know, and that's what we're here tonight trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Luke has a point that I was going to bring up later. I'm going to throw it up, though. Just remember, Betsy Palmer thought Friday the 13th was a piece of shit, and it ended up being a big hit. Tony had no clue then that Halloween was going to be a game changer. Exactly.
True.
Most of those comments that he's saying there, and he does say them at every con, but he's telling the fans what he thought 43, 44 years ago when he got hired for this role. So, and when he showed up to film the role, he's not saying what he thinks now. If you talk to him now, he thinks the film is brilliant. He calls John Carpenter brilliant for a great director. And, that he was so detailed the way he wanted the camera, and to the millimeter, I even saw him make a comment about. Luke goes on to say, he did say some terrible things, yes, but some things are being misinterpreted as well. That's kind of my point. Okay. Corey says, I have neck tattoos. Neck tattoos are for bullies. I don't know. I know people that have neck tattoos, but
I don't know. He reminds me of like a biker kind of too. You know what I mean? He's got that kind of mentality going.
I'm not sure exactly what this means, but I'm going to throw it up here. Zig and Crank, stupid question, but if I give you a one-shot chance at a Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th sequel, which would we do? Like, what would we prefer to see come out? I'm obviously a Friday, personally.
Yeah, just because I don't think they'll ever capture what Nightmare on Elm Street 1 was for me. And it was an unforgettable, terrifying experience. That name was unforgettable from that day forward, in my mind. After seeing that film, I knew that was something like, fuck, that was a scary ass motherfucker, man. And then, of course, pop culture got a hold of him, and not so much. But I guess Friday the 13th, because I think there's a million other ways you could do kills and stuff. And
I think he clarified it. What storyline would we get? He says, "Sorry, I'm drunk."
What story?
What storyline would we get? Would we get a Nightmare on Elm Street like 1 sequel, or would we get like?
Oh yeah. See, and if we're doing Friday, for me, I would jump in after final chapter because that's my favorite, or after 3, before 4, something like that. And I understand there's some fan films coming out that way. I'm a little excited to hear about, but that's where I would want to be. Something like that with that Jason, that Ted White version is, I'm on record saying, the most intimidating in my humble opinion.
Yeah. And then Andy says, he had a point in naming a horror movie Halloween is kind of putting a sharp point on things. And Tyrone adds, I think he means a horror movie called Halloween is like a Christmas movie called Gifts. Kind of stupid. It may have been back in 78. I don't know. Let's move on to this next clip, though, because this is the one that got a lot of fans hot and bothered. And I got some news for you folks. There's more to the story.
Who the fuck wants to fucking interview me? You only see my face for what, 2 or 3 seconds? What the fuck you want from me, you piece of shit, right? I mean, what do you want from me? What are you doing? Because I want your autograph. I'm like, you want my fucking autograph, dude? You're a fucking loser. I mean, seriously, right? Because you only see my face for fucking 3 seconds or whatever it is. You're a fucking loser, dude. This is true. And you want me to sign my fucking name on here? He goes, yeah. I'm like, oh, fine, whatever, dude. What are you gonna do? Go jack off at home off of this shit or what? Because he's got everybody else's signature. Like, you really need I didn't say this, but I'm thinking, you really need a life, bro. I mean, okay, whatever, dude.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Ziggy.
Yeah.
Where in that video did you hear him say he thought that about all fans?
He didn't. And listen, as a mid-card musician that was around the scene in the Midwest and played in some different areas and occasionally was asked to sign an autograph on a shirt or a CD or something, I understand totally where he's coming from with this. 100%. Like, dude, I'm you. I'm just a person. What? Are you kidding me? I'm nobody. I get that. I totally get it. Mm-hmm. Some of the words, maybe, I don't think I would have thought they're a fucking loser. I just would have been like, wow, it's just weird that, I'm no different than you, and yet you're interested in my signature. That doesn't compute. And I understand why it wouldn't compute for him, because he doesn't get this genre. He doesn't get this fan base. At least he didn't.
Right. Because what he's talking about in that clip is before he had even done a convention, before he had even been asked to do a convention. How do I know that? I'm about to show you, but let's see here. Tyrone says it's like he was in a movie that was famous, but he had no idea and thought these people are nuts. Yes, exactly. He doesn't get the fan base, but it keeps him alive. That's kind of where we're going with this. Hold on there, Corey. We will touch on that here in a second. But if you notice, that clip is prefaced with a few just handwritten words by the person who put the video together, unmasked. And then it also has a few more words as it's going, kind of saying he's berating, I can't remember the exact words, but like he's making fun of fans for wanting an autograph to a room full of fans who have just probably paid to get his autograph. Something along those lines.
Sounded to me like half the room got that he was joking. You know what I mean? Just based on the laughter and stuff. But I mean, this guy doesn't have a filter, and he doesn't choose his words carefully. That is apparent. He's not thinking before he speaks. It's just coming directly out through the mouth without any filter on it. That's probably his biggest problem in my eyes. So far.
If you go back and you look at the full panel that this is from, I want to say it's from somewhere in Pittsburgh back in 2020, you can see a little bit more. And in fact, I'm just
When
going
did you appreciate that you were part of a cultural thing?
The first time I did a convention.
Yeah?
Yeah, the first time I did a convention. Because, my fans are the best. The best.
What?
And what happened was I was doing mortgages, playing it straight, making some dough. And this guy, a buddy of mine, he calls me up on a Monday. He goes, "Hey, bud." He goes, his name was Guillermo. He goes, "Hey, man." He goes, "I was at this party over the weekend in Hollywood, and I was talking about you to somebody, and then this other guy hears me say your name." And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, this was when I was like almost 50, right? And I go, "Okay, yeah. What's up with that, man?" He goes, "Yeah." The guy goes, Are you talking about Tony Moran, that Tony Moran, Tony Moran, that Tony Moran, Tony Moran, that Tony Moran, Tony Moran?" And he goes, "Yeah, he's a good friend of mine." He goes, "Dude, I've been looking for that guy for 10 years. I want to do an interview with him, man, in this horror magazine." I go, "Well, you didn't give him my number, right?" He goes, "Fuck, dude." He goes, "No way I'd give him your number. You know me, man. There's no way I'm giving you your number out. He goes, "I got his number, and I told him if Tony's interested, he'll call you." I'm like, so I'm thinking, because I swear to God, I was so fucking far out of Hollywood. But I just saw these Michael Myers shit going on, right? These Halloween movies, right? I'm like, who the fuck wants to fucking interview me? You only see my face for what, 2 or 3 seconds? What the fuck you want from me, you piece of shit, right? What do you want from me? What are you doing? Mm-hmm. So I thought about it. I thought, I'll call this guy. He's kind of, but if he's psycho, So I call him up. I talked to him 3 separate times to make sure he wasn't like psychotic. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, why would you want to interview me, man? Why would you want to do this? So I set up the interview, but he had to come to my work, to the conference room. You know what I mean? So I'm safe. You know what I mean? He has to come to me.
Right, sure.
So he comes, and he's from Orange County. He's got, Doc Martens on and shorts and tattoos everywhere, and his fucking spiked hair. His name is Sean Clark. He's the biggest dick you ever want.
I need to take that in for a second because I know Sean. So that's beautiful, and please continue.
Yeah, so you agree?
I can't agree publicly.
Yeah. Right. He's a poser, and he's a cocksucker. But nothing wrong with being a cocksucker. If you but I don't mean that like sexually. I just mean that like mentally. Anyways, he comes in and I sit down with him, and he's like sweating and shit. He's like all fucking bent out of shape, And I'm like, and he's whatever. So he asked me all these questions. Because it turns out Sean Clark, his favorite movie is Halloween and Michael Myers, which he told me after he interviews me, right? So we're done. So he goes, "Hey man, can you walk me down to the garage, where I parked, in the building?" And I go, "Sure."
Sketchy about that.
Sure. He goes, "I want you to sign some shit." I'm like, "What do you mean sign? What do you mean sign? What are you talking about?" He goes, "Your autograph." I'm like, "My autograph? What are you talking about, my autograph?" He goes, "I want your autograph." I'm like, "You want my fucking autograph, dude? You're a fucking loser." I mean, seriously, right? Because you only see my face for fucking 3 seconds or whatever it is. You're a fucking loser, dude. This is true. But I had a lot to learn. I didn't know, But anyways, I got humbled. But anyway, so we go down there. He's got an SUV. He opens up the back thing, the hatch, and he had a total of 11 items. He had posters from fucking Japan, England, these rare shit that I know now. I didn't know that, right? He goes, "Yeah, can you sign these?" And I go, "So you want me to sign my fucking name on here?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like,
fine, whatever, dude. You know, what are you gonna do? Go jack off at home off of this shit or what? You know, because he's got everybody else's signature. Like, you really need I didn't say this, but I'm thinking you really need a life, bro. You know, I mean, okay, whatever, dude.
All right. So, a little bit more to that clip than is used in the Unmasked video, but part of what makes that kind of important is he's not talking about all fans. He's talking about the first fan in 2005 that tracked him down, wanted to do an interview with him. Why? Me? I'm in the movie for 3 seconds. Interview everybody else. Why would you want to interview me? Okay? And then he wants to get his autograph. Why? No. I'm not saying he handled it well. And that fan turned out to be Sean Clark, who found him in 2005. Sean Clark, if you guys don't know, great horror fan, good podcaster. He does The Thing with Two Heads with Christopher Nelson, and he does horror. I always mess this up because the alliteration fucks with me. Horror's Hallowed Ground, which is they visit film locations, past and present, and great channels. Check him out. He's on Malfunction is his channel, and yeah, it's interesting stuff. Now, I don't know what happened between 2005 and, let's say, 2017 or so, between Sean Clark and Tony Moran, that Tony at least seems to have a little bit of this disdain for Sean now. So, I don't know what happened there. But he's talking about one fan and one person, and he's talking about Sean Clark when he met him. Do you get that, Ziggy? Is that what you see in that?
Yeah, and like cocksucker, that could be motherfucker, son of a bitch. I mean, the way he uses it, it's just like, it's just somebody I don't like. Man,
not the best.
I know guys like this. I know people that speak like this.
We speak like that.
Yes, yeah, I know. I mean, there's something here too. I was thinking when we were watching that clip, and looks like Dave nailed it too. So I'm going to put him up, give him credit before I steal it from him. Reminded him of a fat Joe Pesci. I was like, yeah, it's like this. He sounded like Joe Pesci here.
And he does from time to time. Like I said, he's got a lot of different voices that he uses. I think probably that's part of his storytelling devices. I don't know.
And he says, hey, he's wearing a Dropkick Murphy shirt. Oh, here it is.
Yep. Tyrone, I see this question, and I'm going to throw it up, but we're not necessarily going to answer it yet, but remind us of this later, and we will. So, DCS, what is wrong with the world when you can't stand up and tell your truth or you get canceled, free or not? We're going to come back to that. I want to keep on this track that we're on right now, though. I want to stay on topic as much as we can here. Luke says, do I think he's coming off a little douchey? Sure, but he also has no filter, and he's talking in past tense. He's an old schooler. And
dude, exactly the first thing I did. I not say that almost verbatim to you last night, Craig?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, Tony Moran Unmasked is in the room, guys. Thank you for watching.
Hey.
We may have some questions here in a little bit. If you stick around, I hope you do. We're just kind of trying to look at this from an objective point of view, man. We're not trying to necessarily tear apart what you've done. I think the world needed to see Tony Moran say some of these things and judge for themselves what it was. But Tony says, or Unmasked, I should say, since we've got Tony as a main subject. Unmasked says, as if he ever was really in Hollywood. No, No, he rode the coattails of his sister. We know this. Anyone that actually follows the careers knows this. Anyone that doesn't know, Erin Moran is Tony Moran's sister. She was in Happy Days back in the 80s. And old school show, you'd remember it if you saw it, had one of the greatest theme songs of any sitcom of all time. And, yeah. So, Corey says, all right, this changes gears on Moran a little bit. Not much, because there are still some things that that Tony Moran himself needs to address and apologize for that he has yet not. This is why we need, Corey says, this is why we need DCS on Q&As. You goddamn right.
Well, tell both sides. That's what we're trying to do. Just give it all out, and then you can make your own informed decision on it too. I mean, we're not. This is just crazy that it's heating up like this, and we're going to have a chance to actually speak with Danielle Harris in a few days too. I'm sure this shit's going to come up. So yeah,
And Tyler Main.
Right, and we will bring it up to both just to corroborate everything we can on this to try to figure out what we're dealing with. That's all we're trying to do.
You think we're not going to chase after this story a little bit?
We have to. It just fell right at the right time. I mean, unfortunately.
Right. This is what I had always kind of lived for. I mean, I went to school for journalism broadcasting. That's what my degree is in. I also have a degree in theater, as you can tell. And, Ziggy went to broadcasting school. We've all got a little bit of journalism background in us. So when a story like this comes around, I want to know,
I got another. You're coming down. Okay, you're almost there.
I'm getting there.
Okay. All right.
Unmasked says, classy stuff. Yes. No, he's not classy at all. And we'll get into that. Unmasked adds, do you also use homophobic slurs? I'm guessing not. Well, yes, Ziggy.
Right. Well, right.
No.
Hey, wait a minute. What are you saying here? No,
we don't.
Absolutely not. And absolutely not.
No, we don't. Especially not in a public forum like this. If we are running a show and it starts in our comments or our guest starts doing it, we cut them off immediately. And Unmasked, the video clip that I think you're referring to with Geekly Gab from 2018, somewhere in there, those guys, we'll get to that clip here in a little bit. And I'm not saying Tony Moran should have used these comments. He shouldn't have. Absolutely fucking not. And he owes apologies to Tyler Main for the things he said about him. He owes apologies to Deborah Hill. Well, obviously not Deborah Hill, but, some kind of public apology to her. And he owes apology to John Carpenter and Jamie Lee Curtis, among with the fans that he's already apologized to, in a way. Yeah. But he owes sincere apologies to them. Not condoning his actions whatsoever or his words whatsoever. But if we had been doing that interview with him, that would have been it. As soon as he started saying that shit, we'd been like, Tony, thank you for your time, but we're gonna wrap it up right now. Thanks. And we would have been gone. And we probably honestly would have either never used any of that or just dropped the entire thing.
I mean, those couple of guys that were sitting there just giggling away while he was running on that tirade, man. It was
right.
Like, dudes, what? Come on, take control of your fucking show, man. What are you doing?
Right. Corey, this is not Tony Moran. This is the people that did the Unmasked video. They want to remain anonymous. So that's why I invited them to come in the chat room because I don't even want to necessarily speculate myself who it may be. Because honestly, I have no fucking idea.
Right.
I will say that Tony Moran thinks the person that did it is Sean Clark.
Right.
But that's something that has been made public for a while. Now, this guy, Unmasked, has denied that it is Sean Clark, but, I don't know. And out of respect for him and what he did as a service to the horror fan base, letting people know some of these things that Tony Moran has done, I respect that. I absolutely respect that. And out of respect for that, I don't want him to jump in and be part of that, So.
I got it. Yeah, go ahead.
He says, I like this one. Angelo says, we Italians love tappy days. Hey.
Hey.
Luke, here we go. Luke says, I don't condone homophobic slurs, but you got to remember Tony's vocabulary is old school, and he might not have an understanding that those things are changing.
He clearly doesn't understand that. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing there. Whatever background he comes from, biker, whatever the fuck he is. He's that bully man. We keep saying it, bully like. He's just. And I'm not making fucking excuses for him either, man. He said some fuck up shit that he's got to answer for sure. But I have a question for Unmasked here. I will say, but why did you choose to edit it the way you did and not let him tell the parts where he cleared it up for himself, where he did make his point? It's all there. Like he finishes his thought. I mean, it's clearly cut there right at the shittiest part on some of those videos. And yeah, man, it doesn't make up for any of those other ones. I'm just curious why those were cut where they were instead of telling it all the way out. Just was curious about that.
Yeah. Unmasked, if you're still watching, that's a good question to start with there. Crap. I'm trying to add the next video clips here, so keep talking for a second, Ziggy, or do a couple of comments.
To me, it does seem like somebody was sitting behind there, is pissed off at this guy, and is going out of their way to make it as horrible as possible. I mean, it's horrible enough as it is, but just everything else that was just kind of the way it was cut, it just makes him look like he's a complete, total fuck all the way around, and I don't feel that's the case, aside from his poor choice of language.
Corey, calm down a little bit. Do me a favor.
No. Yeah, Corey. No, dude. No. It's all right.
Calm down. Let's bring that to a cease. I don't want this to get too heated. I just want to talk about what was said, what the meaning behind it was, what we can do to get past it, or
He responded. Frank, go ahead.
I'm getting there. Yep.
Okay.
This one, I think. Unmasked says there's no getting around the slurs about Tyler or slander toward John Carpenter and Jamie Lee Curtis. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Those clips go on and on without a single cut. I don't remember it too well there, but yes, I agree with you. No, there's no getting around that. And that's why I say he owes apologies. Tyler Mane, Jamie Lee Curtis, John Carpenter, Deborah Hill. Absolutely those four. I absolutely agree with you there. And so does Luke. Got to skip all those. Come on, Corey. Luke says Tony is the guy who's in his 60s still pushing kids in a mosh pit.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
That's a good description.
I see that. That fits.
That's a very good description. Yeah. Let's be honest, guys. My 70-year-old father, some of your 60 and 70-year-old grandfathers probably still use the N-word. Probably still use the F, G, G, blah, 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 the gay slur fairly regularly. Again, not making excuses for him, but that's just his vocabulary. And there's another factor to it that I think plays into this, but we haven't gotten to those videos yet.
Well, Tony responded to what I was asking.
Oh, we did? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten that far. Yeah, I did. Unmasked says, and say unmasked so I don't.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah,
I do wish I didn't cut up some of the clips in his talk about the first fan interaction, but does it change anything? Why not be grateful you had a fan, not until he discovered a profit to be made? That's a possibility as well.
I don't know if you were here when I mentioned it, but I compared it to being in a band, and it's, you're not a top selling band or a big touring band, just a local band, and somebody comes up and asks for your autograph. I felt the exact same way. Like, really? I mean, you want my autograph? I'm nobody. And that's what I think that's exactly where he was coming from with that. And that's why I was like, well, shit, it kind of clears it up when you tell the whole thing with that particular piece.
All right. Now, Lorena says, Zag and Crank are 100% telling the truth here. I've been around a while, and the DCS doesn't put up with homophobia. Okay, yes, that is true. Jumped too far ahead there. Damn it. Kiara says, I trust your word on this. Unmasked adds in, it took him learning that there was money to be made from fans to embrace them without that horrible attitude. That alone says so much about his character. Okay, now, I can't say much about that. If that's the case, and Unmasked, if you were around him in 2005, when this first started happening, or you've spoken to Sean Clark, perhaps, and have gotten this from him, yeah, I could see that. But if somebody, like Ziggy said, if somebody came to me and said, hey, do you want to do just an autograph tour for the band you did in the 90s in Tulsa called Stone Rain, I'd be like,
huh?
Me? We played like 60 gigs total. That was it. Why? You know, we kicked ass, but why? You know, I get that, and that's a possibility. I want to get to this next clip, though. This is Tony Moran discussing his. Oh, and by the way, Sean Clark from that first meeting. Now, keep in mind, this happened in 2005. Sean Clark is partly responsible for getting Tony Moran to even start going to conventions. He did one in Southern California, and then he did ChillerCon.
Yeah, there's horror conventions all across the country and Europe and shit, and horror's a huge thing, and horror fans are like totally fucking loyal, just hardcore. I mean, it's the greatest. I'm like, no. And he goes, well, here's what happens. You know, there's these conventions, the promoters fly you out, give you a hotel room, and you sign autographs for money. I'm like, what? I go, money? He goes, yeah. I go, he goes, you know, every time you sign your name, you know, whatever they want. Well, are you shitting me? He goes, no. I'm like, well, that's interesting. So time goes by, and he calls me and he goes, I got this convention. It's called Chiller. It's in New Jersey. And I go, Chiller Theater. I'm like, oh yeah. You know, I'm like, whatever, dude, you know. And he goes, no, it's really big, you know. And Chiller, I don't know if you guys know about it, but it's fucking huge. It's fucking huge. So he goes, yeah. He goes, you should do this one. It's huge, you know. I'm like, all right. Yeah, okay, we'll do it. Well, I didn't take it seriously, so I missed my flight. I got there late, you know. And I get there, and the Hells Angels are doing the fucking security. You know, like, oh, this is good. I love this shit. Because I lived in a house with the Hells Angels owned at one point in my life, you know, so I understood it, you know. And so I get there at my table. Sean puts the banner up, and I put my pictures down and get all situated. I got a fucking line, like forever. I'm like, what the fuck, for me? What, are you out of your mind? And these people are so nice to me. I was like, oh my God. He's like, broke my heart, you know. And so that's when I learned. You know, that's when I learned that I don't know shit. You know, I don't know shit, you know. And, you know, it's just people that came from Tennessee and Florida and shit to New Jersey just to meet me. They said, yeah, we just came to meet you. We haven't, you know, we know everybody. We've met everybody, just you. We have, nobody's, 10 years we've been waiting for you to show up. I'm like, oh, fuck, you know. Jesus.
Now, does that sound like someone who calls all of his fans losers? Or maybe had a misconception about people before he actually met them, and that changed his way of thinking? Or the way Unmasked kind of said it in the comment earlier, realized he could make some money.
That's what I found.
There it goes. Yeah, now he knows that the money's there, right? Exactly. So he Unmasked is saying, you know, now that he knows he can get paid, oh sure, I'll put a face on and fake it, even though I can't stand these motherfuckers. I don't really know if he feels that way all the way through. Maybe he does find some kind of joy in that. But I get it, man. It's, you know, and I'm not trying to convince you otherwise, bro. I respect your opinion. And if you've actually met him and conducted interviews, you got that on us, because I've never met him in person yet, you know?
Yeah, if anyone in the comments has met Tony Moran at a convention or anywhere else, besides Unmasked, obviously, let us know your experience. And, was he a nice guy? Was he a dick? Tell us a little story. Lorena is talking to Kiara, I think, about the topic that we were into earlier. It's a big part of what drew me into DCS at the beginning. Bigotry does not fly with these guys. No, it does not. Luke is responding to Unmasked. He says that could also be said to a lot of others on the horror convention too.
I was thinking that, but I don't want to throw any names out there. But I did think of half a dozen pretty fucking quick.
We already mentioned this a minute ago too. So.
Yeah.
Luke says he's also made money using photos of someone else under the sack. Yeah. Corey says, "Yo, this is a real episode." Yeah. Tonight on the Facts of Life, Tootie gets real. Kiara says that's what worries me about the horror people, because they can be the biggest a-holes in the scene. But being here enough, I can tell DCS are fucking sweethearts. Boy, do we have you fooled. Love you, Kiara. Just playing. Lynn Ann, welcome to the show. Hope you're enjoying. Thank you for chiming in on the conversation. She says, all these horror convention actresses and actors are just there for the money. Reality. Yeah, there you go. And Luke agrees. Lynn, it's all profit moneymaker. I shouldn't, but I'm going to. Dave says, Sean Clark and Tony Moran should fight on the undercard of Jake Paul.
Yeah.
I might actually fly to Vegas for that one.
Shit, man. The betting line would be ridiculous. You wouldn't know the tail of the tape or anything. We don't know who the fuck we're dealing with here.
But let's not try to, if you guys have issues with Sean Clark or or even Unmasked, let's not air those out here tonight. This is
if it is Sean, we've seen Sean at me and Craig, every single con we've gone to across the country, he's always there. So, I mean, next time I see him too, he's on the list. I want to go and say, all right, dude, this is what we got, so what can you further the point here and proof it up?
I've met Sean before. He was nice to me. I don't have anything bad to say about him, but I've never spoken to him more than a couple of minutes. Does he have the same kind of personality as the guy from Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures? Yeah, he kind of reminds me a lot of that guy, but I don't know him.
Yeah, we don't know him enough to,
so I can't say anything about him, good or bad.
I definitely got a reason to, grab a few minutes. Maybe get set up something on the side there if he shows up where we're going to be.
Perhaps. Oh my God, I didn't think about this, but yeah, it does. That looks like Miss Ballbreaker on the left from Porky's in the video clips. All right, Seth Rogen says, "Wait, I thought Nick Castle was Michael Myers." There's like 5 or 6 different people that wore the mask briefly in the movie, in the original movie, but. Yeah.
Big fan. Rogan, big fan.
Oh, Seth. Hey, thanks for joining. Love your films. Luke says there's so many rumors, man. My point being, it's all hearsay. Yep, and we're going to get to some of that other stuff here. Unmasked says Tom Savini is only known to not be super approachable sometimes. He's never been seen as a racist liar, self-entitled, etc.
And he's always been cool to us too, and we've met him half a dozen times. So
yeah,
always been super cool.
Okay. I'm not getting into the Bernarski stuff. I'm not getting into any of that stuff. But
yeah,
this is about there we go. Rumors abound about everybody, but this is about Tony. Yes,
it's about Tony. This is about Tony Moran and Tony Moran alone.
Right. Faze says the language choice could easily be a case of a boomer syndrome, like you guys have said. Boomer syndrome.
Hey.
I like that. As for the editing, it's not too uncommon for things to be edited in ways to intentionally slander someone. I don't know. I'm not defending anyone. That's just my point of view on these two things. I'm not saying it's meant to intentionally portray it badly, but there's some iffy things there. I'll say that. Luke says, I respect what you're saying, Unmasked. Corey's just putting our names out there. All right. So, what was my point here? Yeah, I think in that last video clip, he's just kind of like talking about how he didn't realize the convention culture was such a big deal. And yes, it may be part of, I can make some money off of this. But then he maybe got to start knowing some of the fans and knowing some of the convention organizers and enjoying himself doing this. And maybe it changed his way a little bit. But does he still tell the story the same as he did in 2005 and up until 2020? Like every con that I've seen him do a panel at least on video, I've never seen him live, but every panel I've seen on video, the stories are almost verbatim the same, word for word. And that, I think, is just coming from an old school actor thing. So, oh, good Lord, guys.
Yeah, they're firing tonight, man.
Yeah. Listen, I want my Tommy Jarvis. We'll get that. Luke says, I think these topics bring good and important conversations. I agree. And Luke says, I tend to look at both sides of the coin, or the con, so to speak. I don't think boomer syndrome is a valid excuse myself. People can learn and grow and just not be assholes. Absolutely, that's the truth.
Oh, it's not an excuse. I just think it's just what it is. He's just fucking, kind of old and set in his ways, kind of the thing is what they say about people like that.
Right.
It's not right, but are they going to change? Probably not. Probably not.
Oh, you're never going to, like, when it comes to my dad, for instance, you're never going to change what he thinks. Ever. Just, he's old. Unmasked says, yes, the clips during his first fan story could have been left alone and not much would have changed, but we have the links to all the full videos in your video description. No intent to mislead. Yes, you do.
Yep.
And I respect that.
Respect. For sure.
Dave says, I think the Tony's booth should have just have I'm sorry card signed.
Yeah.
My condolences.
My bad. There you go.
All right. So now a lot of this, we talked about how he thought the name Halloween was stupid. He thought the movie was going to be he sees billboards for it when he's driving around in 78 in California. And he's like, they got a piece, this piece of shit movie got a billboard. Yeah. And then he finally goes to see the movie.
My girlfriend at the time, I go, English chick, model, beautiful, accent, you know what I mean? I go, man, baby, have you seen this movie's playing everywhere? She says, yeah, I know, I've seen that, and I've noticed that. And I'm like, you want to go see it? She goes, yeah, fuck it, why not? So we go, this is a true story. So we go see it. We're in the San Fernando Valley, in a fucking ghetto part of San Fernando Valley where I lived. It's like I was broke, We go to the theater, multiplex fucking place, We're sitting in the theater, and we're sitting in the back near the middle and shit, and watching the movie, and I'm watching it, and I'm like halfway through, and I turned around and I go, this movie's not too bad. She goes, yeah, it's not too bad at all. That's how we saw the fucking movie. Fucking asshole, Just a fucking dick. But then I learned my lesson, what I mean?
Yeah.
But he learned his lesson there. You heard that last part, right?
Well, that's what he says.
Yeah. Well, that was 2020 when that panel was recorded with Miss Ballbreaker. Nurse Ballbreaker.
It's Ballbreaker.
I shouldn't say that. That's lowbrow for me. My bad. Right, Andy. Boomers never need an excuse. You're right. But, he hadn't seen the movie when he was calling it a piece of shit. After he sees it, looks at his girlfriend and says, not too bad. He goes on later, and you guys, I will include some links to Unmasked original video and then some other original video clips that you can look at and judge for yourself. But he later on in these videos goes on to call John Carpenter brilliant, a great director, there's a kind of a joke, or you could say it's a slight. He could have been friends with John Carpenter and been in all of his movies. Maybe not quite like Kurt Russell, but, and then he uses some slurs again that I'm not going to say right now. But I didn't include that clip for, I don't know why I didn't include that clip. You guys go watch the Unmasked video. It's eye-opening, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think there's a little more to it. BK's here. He says, late but alive. Welcome back. Lorena says, quote, English chick, beautiful, model, inflatable.
Yeah, probably.
Who knows?
I know guys like this, you know what I mean? Not us, the bullshit aside, the language and stuff, but I mean, dudes that are just, that's it. I keep coming back to bully, but he says it how many times too? I'm such an asshole. I'm such a dick. Such an asshole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably right.
Maybe this will change his entire persona, especially at a con. Maybe he won't be a dick anymore. Maybe he'll reconfigure his attitude and his interpretation of himself.
He wouldn't be the first one to turn his opinion around of the horror community. That's for sure.
There you go. I mean, you see him call himself an asshole here because he prejudged this movie based on the title, the budget, and the fact that he was being asked to wear a mask. He never seen it when he was calling it a piece of shit, but once he saw it, he changes his mind about it. So
paying gig and clearly not a horror fan. He's not a fan of this type of material, I think, at all.
Well, and keep in
that
mind,
bleeds through, yeah.
Right, and keep in mind, like he said, in '78, he was embarrassed to even say he was a part of it because of the way horror movies were looked down on. They're not looked at the same way now. We didn't have necessarily a Conjuring universe kind of thing in '78.
Nobody knew what they had with that thing.
No. Hold on. Corey says, throw me. Luke says, if this does help him make some changes in his perspective, good. No one's perfect. We all have done and said stupid shit. Yeah, dude, I used to say the N-word when I was a kid because I didn't know any fucking better. Okay? Yeah. I've told you guys this. I've admitted this on the show. I've admitted it in my own, personal writings. I was probably 5 or 6 at a WWF event before it was, no, it wasn't even WWF. I think it was Mid-South Wrestling. And my grandfather was there, and he holds me up when Junkyard Dog, he whispers in my ear, holds me up when Junkyard Dog comes out, and he told me what to say, and I scream out, kill that. I'm not going to say the rest. But I'm 6 years old. I'm being told to say this. Now, once I started growing up, did I stop saying it? Yes, I did. But if my grandfather was still alive, shit, the South wouldn't be the same. Did I used to say the gay slur? Yes, of course I did. But I've stopped saying them. But I have learned to grow. He's starting to learn that he needs to grow. And I think this has opened his eyes, and maybe it's helped. Lorena. Mid-South Wrestling, woo! Yep. Luke says, people want others to change how they think or talk, and that person does, then they need to be understanding on them changing that and not kick them in the ground while trying to change. Good point. Kiara says, telling your child to say those things is heartbreaking. Well, this was the 70s, so about the same time, maybe the early 80s. Kiara, things were a lot different back then.
Man. Yeah.
A lot.
Unfortunately, I was here, 20 minutes east of Detroit, or west of Detroit. So it's pretty much, I saw a lot of crazy shit coming up and racism all abound, man, but the higher expect.
We are going to get into the vocabulary he's using in some of the rest of the video here in a minute, but we're also going to point out some points about that. So stick around. Lorena says, Crank, you were a kid. It's not the same thing. No, I know. But like I said, even as a kid, I learned later on, changed. It can be done. Angelo says, I agree with you guys on the vocabulary that he uses and must be forgiven. We do have a lot of old fucks in Italy that talk like him and praise Mussolini, but condone him. Oh. Holy. Hey! Love you, Angelo. Thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah. Man.
Hope you're doing well wherever you're at, New York or Pittsburgh. Hope things are working out for you, by the way, man. I see you going through some weird shit up there. Dave says he was lucky he was able to wear the iconic mask because he sure couldn't get it on now or it would look like a Myers mask from Wish. The mask he has to wear now is a little bit bigger, from what I understand.
Extra couple of slips in the back, maybe, that slit up a little higher so you can fit it over the coconut there.
He doesn't have all the curly hair that he had back in '78 anymore either, so he doesn't have to worry about losing all that. Kiara says, we love progressive people. Well, I definitely know my uncle makes it clear enough around him. Times were scary. Times were weird back then, man. And here you go. Luke says, hell, I've heard gay slurs in PG movies. Yeah. Hell, watch Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. They use the F word, not fuck, several times in that movie. Yeah, they do. You could turn on the news and hear the N-word on a weekly basis everywhere, because anytime someone went out in the field and were just like, hey, did you see anything that happened with this fire? Well, these blah, 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 blah were over here, and then this just blew up. You're going to hear that. Well, especially in the South. But Angelo says, thanks. Things are getting better now. So where am I here? Did I play the first convention clip?
You just played the one where he went and saw Halloween.
Okay. All right. Then we are at this one. Check this one out. This is from Tony Moran Unmasked.
How surprised were you that this little film that you worked on for one day turned into this monster, iconic film?
I'll be honest with you. I just never got it. I just never understood.
I started going to conventions in like 2005. And I saw the attention I got. It was kind of twofold. I was like blown away. Like, I can't believe this, right? But the flip side was I thought, all these people are a bunch of nerds because you only see my face for like a few seconds. You know what I mean? What the hell? What's wrong with you guys? You know what I mean?
So I'm sitting there and I got a line, and I can't believe this shit. You know what I mean? 'Cause you only see my face for like 2 or 3 seconds. What the fuck is wrong with everybody?
All right, now it's a short clip that pretty much says or seems to say that Tony doesn't understand his fans, right? Well, hold on. Let's watch a little bit of a longer clip from partially that same.
Well, you're here at your first convention appearance at the Necro Comic Con. What's that like?
It's been an amazing, amazing experience. It's blown my mind, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
This is pretty much the first time you've interacted with fans ever, and it's been some 27 years since the film, huh?
27 years, and it's the first time that I've ever done anything like this. Yes, yeah. I've been out of the picture for quite a while. Yeah.
So was it kind of a shock, or that people were coming up to you and asking for your autograph and wanting to take pictures with you?
Yes, it's a shock and kind of eye-opening. I mean, after I did the movie, I was like, that was it. I wanted to leave that behind and do some other stuff. I had no idea that it would take off like it has, and the thing that hit me though this weekend is that it's been a real pleasure. Usually it makes me uncomfortable when people know what I did, and so that's why I never bring it up. And nobody knows where I live, nobody knows where I'm at, But it was really more of a pleasure than I had any idea it would be. and the people got getting really happy about it, and really thrilled, and it was humbling. It was humbling.
Interesting, right? By the way, that right there on the left is Sean Clark. That's his first interview, well, probably second interview, because I think he did one before this, and then got him into the conventions. But this is at Tony Moran's first convention appearance in Southern California back in 2005, and Sean Clark sat down with him to do this quick interview back then. So, wanted to point that out, by the way. That's this clip, isn't it? Yep. All right. And before we move on with that, I got to hit this because this got weird all of a sudden. Good-looking honky jumped in the room, and he says, yep, Death Curse and Friends. Hi, Peter North here, old adult film star. Fun fact, I was supposed to be the werewolf in American Werewolf in London. Producer passed away. My first mainstream gig.
I don't know the validity of that, so we'll just leave that right there. And
Luke is laughing about it. And then Honky comes back and says, I did, however, have sex with Elvira.
Ba-dum-ba.
All my best... Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
There you go.
All right.
All my best wishes, Luke. Thanks, Peter North. I don't know who that was, but thank you. That was
thanks.
Brilliant. That was great. I loved it. I know it has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but it was pretty funny.
Reel it back in.
Yep, gotta reel it back in. Peter North stopped by. It must have been because we were talking about Sylvester Stallone doing porn earlier. But anyway, so that longer clip with Sean Clark, he's appreciative of the fans. He's unsure why they want his autograph because he's in the movie for 3 minutes. But then all of a sudden, now that he's been to a convention, he's blown away by it. He even used the words eye-opening. So what do you say, Ziggy? What's going on there?
It goes back to the first one where he says he now insults the entire room of fans telling this story like this. I kind of feel like that. It's misleading because he does realize the error of his ways. And in this instance, now we got a lot more work to do with this motherfucker. I get it, but those other things that, again, I don't know. I guess it feels like piling on to me. That's all. I'll just get to it, man. That's what it feels like to me.
Right. Yeah, I think he learned, but he just hasn't completely come across yet. Does that make sense? I think he's still learning. Maybe that's the best way to put it.
Well, I'm sure he doesn't want to find this newfound income to dry up too fast. Because it's $40 a pop for a signature, man. You know how it goes. That shit adds up quick.
All right. Now we're getting into some of the juicier points of the Unmasked video. God damn it, why do I keep hitting that button? Sorry, guys. Keep hitting the wrong button for some reason here.
That's got to be the Colonel.
Do what?
Colonel puts a comment up here. Probably Peter South nowadays.
Oh, must have been. Yeah, I didn't do that. All right, let me get back to some of these comments here. Corey says, money clouds, Crank. Yeah, possibly, probably. Angelo says, wow, same dude, prodigal son. Luke says, the pile-on effect. Dave says he signed shit for free. Well, yeah. Because you're in Canada.
Yep. You're going to have to go ahead and post an address there, Dave.
S. Michael says, Ron Jeremy did a horror movie called One-Eyed Monster in 2008. Quality trash. I don't want to see that. Corey is saying opera and ASAP. I'm not quite sure what that means, but been a long night. All right. Let's move into some of these other juicy points here. This is from Unmasked, and this is Tony Moran talking about meeting John Carpenter for the first time. Check this out.
Your Blondes, who is the producer, and he's pretty clean cut, wearing nice clothes and shit. And I'm like, all right, hey, nice to meet you, It's not so bad, And so he points across the room, which is, from not even from here to this wall. It was like really close. It was like a little studio room. And he goes, "That's my director, John Carpenter." And I'm like, "All right." I look over and he stands up and comes walking over to shake my hand. He's like wearing tennis shoes and jeans and a t-shirt, and he's got a ponytail. I'm like, "Oh, shit. Fuck." Bad news. You know what I mean?
All right. I do like the way they zoom in on the interviewer, although the guy literally asked, I think, 2 questions in the 50 minutes that video really lasts. So, great interview, guy. But I love the way he zooms in at the end there for effect, just to kind of show the disappointed face on the guy. Like, oh,
did he have a ponytail, that guy?
No. No, he didn't.
Hey, Brad from here.
I saw that. I was going to get to that here in a second, but I'm just going to say, look, Tony was and probably still is a judgmental prick when it comes to judging people by their appearance or judging people based on their job or thing. He probably is, and he kind of admits that. And he later goes on to call John Carpenter brilliant and an incredible filmmaker, but that's left out of this video. It's on the same video if you watch it, the full panel. So, right, Ziggy?
Yeah, it's another incident why I don't understand why, I do understand because it makes him a little less shitty, when you get to the other stuff. But the stuff in question is, pretty much, it's pretty fucked up, man. So,
right,
we're getting to it.
Yeah, that's right. Brad from the Colorado Festival of Horror is here. Brad, what's up? Thanks for tuning in, man. Their festival is coming up in September, the 10th to the 12th. Is that right? So, if you're in the Colorado area, check it out in mid-September and go get Brad.
Is it the same weekend as Whorehound? Same weekend as Whorehound?
Whorehound, yeah. That's one of the reasons why we can't go.
That's right. But we're going to have on one of their head honchos here right before we do that. Before their con goes, a few weeks before their con goes live.
Yeah, a couple weeks before. I don't have the date right now, but my tabs are full right now. I'll look it up later.
We'll see how they do.
Yep. Dave says you have to zoom in on a Porky's alumni, more famous than Tony. Duh. By the way, yes, the topic is dickhead. We're talking about Tony Moran, Tyler Main, and Danielle Harris, and the controversy that's kind of been going around with mostly Tony Moran, based on this video done called Tony Moran Unmasked a couple months ago. Next clip I want to show you guys is where Tony Moran discusses Jamie Lee Curtis. And this one, of course, got a lot of bullshit thrown at it. Oh, yeah. Ziggy, cover your eyes.
This girl comes over and says, "Hey, man, Jamie wants to meet you." I'm like, "All right, cool." She goes, "She's upstairs. She's in the vanity room."
So I go up there, and I knock on the door. And she goes, "Who is it?" And I go, "It's Tony Moran." And she goes, "Oh, Tony. Yeah, you're playing Michael Myers. Come on in."
I go, "It's Tony Moran." She goes, "Oh, yeah, Tony, I want to meet you, yeah." She goes, "Come on in."
Open the door. It's a true vanity room. Like the old-fashioned vanity room where it's a little tiny stool with a little tiny fucking mirror, It's a little tiny room and shit. And I come in and she stands up. She's wearing nothing but panties and a bra, see-through, powder blue. And I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?"
What was so good about it was that it was powder blue see-through.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. It's not a bad day at the office.
That's how I met her.
Yeah. That's how you met her.
Yeah. She may be doing yogurt stuff now or whatever, but back then she was wild.
I'm like, "Wow. Nice to meet you."
That's awesome.
She was a party chick. She was a character right on.
Halloween, when I did Halloween, there was a clique. And it was Tommy Lee Wallace, Nick Castle, John Carpenter, and Jamie Lee Curtis. But Jamie Lee Curtis, because she was fucking everybody on the set.
No, she was pulling a Carrie Fisher at the point.
It's just true. I'm just telling you the truth.
All right. Now, I'm not going to get into it yet, but I have a big problem with these two interviewers and their contribution, if you want to call it that, to this video. I think they were taking more advantage for themselves than, was deserved. Anyway, thoughts on the Jamie Lee Curtis topic, Ziggy?
Here's a story that probably would have been better off just if that's true and you got to experience that in 1977 or 78, whenever they were shooting that part of it, then God bless you. You got to see something like that. I would have, I would have. Sounds like a good day at the office, as you said, but man, that nobody's fucking business, really. I mean, that, and it's hearsay too. I mean, come on, man. That ain't, there's no way you can look cool telling that fucking story, in my opinion.
Well, let me throw a question at you. If he was telling that story on Entertainment Tonight or a talk show, Johnny Carson in 1980.
No, you can't. You can't.
Yes, you could.
No, man.
Are you kidding? I've heard stories like that on Johnny Carson back in the 80s. Yes, you can tell stories like that.
See, panties and bra? No.
Yeah, you can. How the actress just showed up and didn't care. It was 1978, man. The hippies had just taken over. Women's lib was a big thing. Women were becoming more free about their bodies. Fuck it. They didn't care. I get that completely. Now, can you tell that in 2021 or 2018, I guess, is when that video was recorded? No. No, you can't. Very bad. Very bad situation. But again, it comes back to that old school thing. Again, not necessarily making excuses for him, but just letting you guys kind of get a little more perspective from this. And it gets worse.
Yeah.
Like I said, those last two interviewers I have a little bit more problems with, but we've got another clip from them, and I think this is it. So enjoy.
I don't like him at all. I know, and I respect his work, but I don't respect him as a human being.
Okay.
Because he was dating Deborah Hill, and Deborah Hill, I'll never forget, when I was filming, came with big old fucking sunglasses because she had black eyes from him. So I don't have any respect for him. I don't give a fuck,
So, another piece of unsubstantiated. This is definitely hearsay. So,
if he would have came out and said to this story, Deborah Hill came rushing at me in tears and hid behind me with a infuriated John Carpenter in tow behind, holding a hammer or something, maybe you can tell this fucking story. But, dude, man, are you kidding? Mm-hmm. You can't say that, man. Who the fuck? I don't know. I don't ever recall, no one caught a glimpse or a shot of her with sunglasses on. They do, but you can't tell if she's got black eyes, and it's just ridiculous for him to even speculate like that. True or not, you can't. There's no gain for telling this story. It's so ridiculous.
Right. Again, these are unsubstantiated claims, which someone like Jamie Lee Curtis, being the activist that she is now and has been for decades, she would have addressed something about this at some point. There's no way she would have ignored this. She would have said something. I'm getting to the comments. I see you looking at a few.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of good ones. Nerd Report's in here now with us too. What's up, guys?
Oh, okay, cool. I'll scroll down quick then.
Yep.
S. Michael says, I can totally see Joni Cunningham in Moran's face. Yeah. Even after all these years, the selective editing to further smear him was unnecessary. He did a good enough job putting his foot in his mouth without it. True.
Very good.
But I think he's also getting a little bit of backlash from this unnecessarily. Does he deserve some backlash? Abso-fucking-lutely he does, for the language and the people that he slandered. But we're getting to that right now, actually. Luke says, I don't think Danielle deserved the backlash that she got. No. She didn't, but did she also need to step into the middle of this? No. We're getting to that too here in a second. BK says, is that clown for real? Luke says, yeah, that was uncalled for. Absolutely. Tony shouldn't have even brought that up out of respect. No, he shouldn't. But he did multiple times at multiple cons, as you could tell the way it was cut apart. And he, again, I'll make that point too. When he tells a story, he tells it verbatim every single fucking time. So it's built in.
And it's fine. And it may be true, but you can't still, that's just one of those things you can't do.
Right. You can't do now.
Fuck, man. Come on.
Brad from Kofo says, Tony Moran, very unclassy. Yeah. Shit. The next one. Ziggy, do I do it?
Where were you at?
I'm on Brutus.
Hang on. Oh, there you are. Is that the one you're going to click?
The next one down.
Oh, Angelo.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, man. That's
all right. Angelo says only Donald T would say that kind of shit.
She was wearing some see-through blue panties and bra. It was tremendous. That I can tell you. Okay. Jamie Lee JLC is the scream queen. Anybody else that says she isn't, it's fake news. Okay.
Okay, that's enough.
All right.
Not going into this anymore.
No. But yeah,
Angelo,
good point. Good point.
And he'd probably still get the Republican nomination. Luke says, I get Red Crank's point too. Thank you, Luke. I guess Colonel is just on Facebook commenting. He says, I trust gas station egg salad more than Tony Moran. Dave says he was just jealous and did a little wanky behind the hedge in between shooting. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe that's why he's pissed off. He didn't get to sleep with Jamie Lee Curtis like everyone else did, according to him. Luke says, how does he know all this information if he was on the set for a day or two? Bingo! And that movie was made so fast, and he's got to tell it all. He's got to tell it out book here. I feel some exaggeration here, possibly. And Nerd Report kind of says the same thing. He was only on set one day. How did he witness all this? Exactly. Nerd Report, thanks for joining in.
Excellent point, man.
Did we have any other questions for Unmasked? He says he had to hop off for a little bit, but he's back.
So I'm sure that someone will have something to say. Hang on a second.
Lorena says, I think we'd have heard that stuff about Jamie Lee and Deborah Hill from other people if any of that were anything but pure bullshit. I think we would have by now, too. I mean, shit. You can't keep secrets that much anymore. 40-something years. Kiara says, even if all this was true, why is it any of his business to tell it as if that's going to get him more money? No, it's not. So,
I don't know why he chose to pick those fucking.
Right.
Here we go.
Like I said, Unmasked is back in. He says he was on set for a night, yet he somehow has all this info. Meanwhile, John Carpenter doesn't even remember him or his name half of the time. Exactly. And that's kind of the point, But does he have any right to be telling stories about John Carpenter possibly beating Deborah Hill? No. Does he have the right to be telling stories about Jamie Lee Curtis sleeping around on the set? No. Are they true? I don't fucking know. I wasn't there. Right. Can I confirm or deny them? No. I can't. But my gut instinct says that it's 50-50. One of them might be true, and one of them might not be true. Who knows, man? But it's none of our fucking business, and it doesn't fucking matter anymore. So.
Yeah, I think he's a complete bonehead for telling either one of those two stories. Just some things you leave the fuck alone, man, and that's the kind of shit he's going to have to learn. He's going to have any staying power around these fucking cons anymore. That's just straight up.
Right. Now. Tonight, before we went live, Danielle Harris jumped onto Instagram for a third time about this topic. And this time, she had Tony Moran with her again. And they did a live stream. And this was brought up, finally. And that's one of the problems I had with Danielle even doing anything with him that first night. Friday, I think it was. Because she didn't bring up the specific things he said. And he did apologize for what he said about John Carpenter and Danielle Harris and or not John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, and Jamie Lee Curtis. He did apologize for that. So I doubt if you ever see him at a convention again, any of those stories are going to be part of the deal anymore. I strongly doubt they will be. Now, was he sincere in his apology? Again, fuck, I don't know. I don't have the video yet to show you because it literally ended moments before we were getting ready to go live. Yeah, but you would have to watch that and judge it for yourself. As soon as I get a link for it, I will put it in the description of this video and you can check it out. So, oh, Jesus Christ, you guys are going good. Luke, come on. If you're unmasked, tell us who you are. No, he's Tony Moran Unmasked. He's not unmasked himself. Come on, man. You're not helping me. You're not helping me here, Luke.
No.
Kiara says, even if it was true, it isn't going to take away from the iconic role Jamie Lee played. No. And it wouldn't make any difference for me. People are weird. But, well, it might make a difference, like, against Jamie Lee Curtis, or not Jamie Lee Curtis, against John Carpenter, you know. If it came out that John Carpenter was a wife beater or a woman abuser, yeah, that could have an effect on him. That could have an effect on his career. If actresses were kind of slutty in the 70s and 80s, I don't give a fuck. Enjoy it. Go to town. Lorena says exactly. Luke says, even if those stories were true, that was over 40 years ago. Why we stuck in the past. Corey, come on, dude. Wait a minute. I hit the wrong comment. Problem. Sorry. My remark was not on politics, but on the being of a douchebag of some people towards women. I know what you were saying. We just try to stay away from that because it is such a very divisive. Yeah. It's a very divisive country because of the fake news that's all about the world. We try to stay away from that. Dave says they should wheel Tony into the con with a lectern mask on so he can't say anything. A lectern mask. Yeah. All right. I think I have... Oh, one other thing I want to point out about this last video. Do you notice anything a little bit different about this one? Did you notice anything different about... I'm going to show a little bit of a clip about it again. Anything different about Tony's behavior in this one as opposed to some of the other ones where he's not calling people abusers, whores, and...
I don't like him at all. I know, and I respect his work, but I don't respect him as a human being.
Okay.
Because he was dating Deborah Hill, and Deborah Hill, I'll never forget.
Is there anything different about that video, Ziggy?
He looks fucking sloshed.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. He appears...
Looks crocked. Yeah, he looks fucking wasted.
He appears 6 sheets to the wind in that video. And that's another issue I have with these podcasters, is they're taking advantage of this guy, drunk out of his gourd, and then broadcasting all the bullshit that he has to say. Now, again, he shouldn't have said it in the first place. I know, but there's a little bit of extra blame that goes around here, is what I'm trying to say. There's integrity when it comes to shows like this. We've been asked, by people we've interviewed or filmed a panel with, we've been asked by them, hey, can you not air that one particular part? Because I went on a little bit more about a certain director and I don't want it to affect my chances of possibly getting hired down the road. Yeah, sure, man. Not a problem. We kind of look at him. You kind of look at it as maybe you shouldn't have said it since you saw the video cameras right here. But hey, we'll cut it because you know why? We have some fucking integrity. Anyway, Luke says he's drunk as fuck.
There's Colonel again.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Nerd Report, he says he always looks sloshed. Well, yeah. I mean, he's an old guy. He doesn't look that great anymore. And he probably, again, not making excuses for him, but he probably has an alcohol problem. I've never heard him speak of it, but he comes from a family that is quite famous for having drug and alcohol problems. So
Functionality, yep. Fuck, man, I guess it's how he handles the liquor. I mean, we've run into Tom Atkins after a few cocktails in the cons, and he was a fucking riot. He was a ball of fun, and you could tell he had a nice buzz, but man, he was standing up and acting out shit from Night of the Creeps for us on camera. It was fucking ridiculous, man. So it just goes to show you just never know, but clearly somebody should have been, usually they got a helper or a handler there, like collecting the money at these cons and shit, and they're sitting on the side, but he clearly had no handler there to say, stop, so I mean, and those two fucking guys, I don't even know who the fuck they are, man, but take control of your interview, bros. Dude.
They got about 46 subscribers, so
46?
There's that. Unmasked says, it's funny how he says that those remarks and behavior were from a long time ago. The videos where he talks about Carpenter, Jamie, and Tyler was 4 to 5 years ago tops. It was 3 years ago, maybe 3 to 4. I looked it up. But it's from a podcast called the Geekly Gab, I think is what it's called. And no, he, like we keep saying, Unmasked, these are the things he should not have said. Abso-fucking-lutely. And this is one of those problems. So, but I think these podcasters took a little bit of a chance at taking advantage of the situation to help them.
Well, they're clearly uncomfortable with his responses, and they're just sitting there giggling like Beavis and Butthead, man. They're not saying anything, to reel it back in or put it back on fucking topic.
Now, is he a difficult interview anyway because he's so braggadocious and so out, just opinionated and everything? Yes. But in those clips, and you're about to see another one, the worst one, or one of the worst ones in my opinion, whoo! Yikes. Luke says, yes, they sure are, Red Crank. Taking advantage of the situation, I assume. Yeah, absolutely. Colonel looks like he says he looks like the Dollar Tree version of the Batman villain Clayface. Colonel, I miss you. FaZe says the sunglasses black eye thing sounds like an intentional slander in itself, bullshitting for the sake of achieving some sort of relevancy in a community. Possibly.
Yeah, that's absolutely fucking stupid if that's really what it is.
Maybe. Yeah. Corey says, Crankzag, I give you $1 million each for pitch one sequel. What? Not tonight, man. Right. Not tonight, but we'll think about it and we'll get back to you.
We're into some shit here, man.
Yeah, we're talking, man. Dave says, I can see into the future. This is what Dana White is going to look like. Oh, God. Is that UFC shit? Is that what he's talking about, UFC?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Dana White. Yeah. He's the head of the UFC, president.
Okay. Colonel, I bet he smells like cheap whiskey and leather. I know at least one other person that might smell like that. Luke says, all that matters to me, Halloween is still a great movie, regardless of this drama or who played Myers, etc. It doesn't change the fact that we have a classic movie. Absolutely.
And I think that's kind of behind it, too. I mean, it's such a treasure and a cherished movie and beloved all the way around. And everybody connected to it, I mean, all of them. Everybody. And even though 3 seconds on screen, you're still part of that legacy. And I just do feel like, man, we don't want anybody shitting on it or fucking it up like this, So right. I get it. I totally get it, man.
Right. Brad from Kofo says, alcohol problem? What? No. I assume that's the way you wanted that said. Just a big shock there, right? And then Nerd Report asked, did Danielle Harris post a third video? She did a live IG shortly before, I want to say it started, what time did we go on? 8. It started at 7 Eastern Standard Time tonight. Now, I don't know if she's posted the saved version of it, but it did go live for about 40 minutes. And it was her, and it took about 15 minutes for her and Tony to figure out, how do I use Instagram to get into a chat room with you and video chat with you? So it's only about 20, 25 minutes of her and Tony. But in that, he apologizes clearly for the language that he used against Jamie Lee Curtis. John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, but not this next clip.
Oh.
Same podcasters, same shitty podcast.
Are you enjoying all the fan interaction? I'm sure, because I mean we got 2 Michael Myers here, so I mean I'm sure there's been a little
2 Michael Myers? Let's see here. Let me see. Yeah, Dan, you understand, don't you? You understand, don't you? Dan, I already told Dan the story.
Okay.
So there's 2 Michael Myers here?
Well, I'm referring to Tyler Mane, who played.
Tyler Mane.
Yes.
Oh, Tyler Mane, like 2 Michael Myers.
He did the non-John Carpenter stuff. He did
The Rob Zombie
Rob
Michael
stuff.
Myers.
Yes.
Was that like a Michael Myers?
I mean,
Is that like a Michael Myers guy?
I believe so.
I could have sworn. I never saw the fucking movie, and I won't. But I could have sworn that version wasn't a Michael Myers cunt at all.
Really?
No. He's my bitch.
He's my bitch.
That's my match. My knife.
Oh, see, I was wondering if this was going to be a thing, and I'm kind of happy that it is. Not going to lie.
Not bad.
So when we interview Tyler, is it going to be the same kind of...
Well, you can bring it up what I say.
Okay.
I have no problem. He's my cocksucker.
We'll roll back the tape, and we'll be like, guess what?
No, he's my cocksucker.
Oh, okay.
And I told him so.
Oh, snap.
Because I never had a problem with Tyler. I mean, poor fucker's got to, suck my cock, to be who he is, right?
Right.
I got no problems with that. I don't have a problem.
Everybody in the business.
So I yelled across the room, which is not very far, and I said, "Well, Tyler Maine's my cocksucker. Without me, Tyler Mane wouldn't be who he is right now. So that makes him my cocksucker, right? Doesn't that make him my cocksucker?"
That sounds like
coming off.
That sounds like
if I didn't do what I did,
I hear logic.
he doesn't get to be who he is, right?
Right. I feel.
He doesn't get to do conventions and shit. He's my cocksucker. He seems like this little typical Hollywood little faggot. You know what I mean? That piece of shit.
Getting the real inside the mask story.
Right. Truly inside the mask.
And he won't even fucking. Today, I thought for sure he's going to come up and confront me, for calling him a cocksucker. And he's still in front of all the fans. Like, I don't know, how many times did I say cocksucker to him? I don't know. 7, 8, 9 times? Loud for everybody to hear. I yelled it across the room because he was across the room so he could hear. I didn't do it for myself. I did it for him. See, he went beyond being my bitch.
And right into the cocksucker.
Right into cocksucker.
That's
he was way beyond my bitch. He became my cocksucker. I just really don't like this guy at all. I just don't like who he is as a human being, Dan. I just don't. He's a piece of shit. He's a typical Hollywood fucking cunt.
Right?
Well,
before I remove this.
Yeah, there's boo. He's crocked. He's shit-faced. And he's making attempts at humor that are just misfiring so horribly.
Right.
And it's just not funny, dude. And this is hard. If you're trying to defend this guy, you can't. This makes him look like a disrespectful piece of shit. Straight up.
In my opinion, this is the worst one. This is the worst clip of the bunch. And this is what we were talking about earlier. And Lorena was kind of supporting us about this. And, if this were to happen during one of our shows. If you and I ever see an interview like this going like this, I don't care who it is, I'm stopping it. Or I'm just going to be like, okay, wait a minute, Tony, let's not use those terms, on this show. We're not going to use those terms, and if it continues, we're just going to stop the interview. We appreciate the time, but oh my God, did you really do that?
Somebody that's done this before they're going to know how to reel that back in and turn him off of that. But fuck yeah, I would have said, hold the fuck on, shut the cameras down. Dude, you can't do that. Don't speak that way. Just change the fucking lingo. You can tell the story, but not that way.
Right.
And I don't know. These guys, I don't know what the fuck, man. But hey, man, it is what it is. This guy, he makes himself look horrible in this
But
video.
again, you know, you see the cup right
Sure.
there. And
Dude, he's repeating himself. He keeps saying the same thing like he didn't say it. You know what I mean? It's the same goddamn thing. So you can tell that he's shit-faced. You just fucking tell. It's horrible, man.
Let me get up here. You guys put me another couple of pages of comments on here. Nerd Report says that video is gone. I think, and I could be wrong about Instagram Live videos, you have to choose to save them after you record them or broadcast them. So I don't know if it's out yet. I don't know if she saved it and put it on her like IGTV or whatever.
Yeah. Had I known, we'd have ran a screen capture. We'd have caught it for her. You know, we'd have had it.
I wish I had thought about it, but it showed up so quick, and I was like, fuck, I got to watch this real quick. Dave says, Crank sounded just like Scooby-Doo. Luke says, those guys are sober, he's drunk, and those guys are hoping to get stuff out of him. Yeah. But Corey says, disrespectful. David says, damn. Brad says, so freaking disrespectful. Lorena says, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Dave says, this is crazy. Tony yeah, that's what I call him sometimes, or I used to, Tony Moran. David says, wow. S. Michael says, like sands through the hourglass. I don't think Moran's a significant enough figure to deserve the notoriety, but communities need pariahs, I guess. Kiara says, see, now I would have punched his bald-headed ass if I was that dude. I don't care if he was drunk. Well, I'm not a violent guy. I wouldn't have punched him, but I definitely would have like either stopped the video and then put a stop to it one way or the other.
Kill the spotlight, everything. Just like, let's redefine. Listen, we're not gonna fucking speak this way, you know. And he would probably call us a couple of, you know, whatevers at that point if he's in that condition, you know. But I'd have been like, cool, we'll catch you when you call us when you're sober.
Right. Dave says, I'm sick of listening to Daddy Warbucks and want Wino to Thundercat his ass. Who can get to it first?
Go ahead.
Oh, not that one.
That's the only kind of drunk I want to see.
There you go. Angelo says, wow, stylish and elegant. And the reiteration. I don't see anything else, though. Luke says, I wouldn't have released the footage. Yeah, you could have gone that way, too, if you had any kind of integrity. Lorena says, I don't give a fuck if he's drunk. Not enough alcohol in the world to make someone a homophobe. Another thing I found out today from the Danielle Harris recent IG Live was that his daughter is gay. Tony Moran's 16-year-old daughter is gay. So,
well,
but he doesn't talk about his family that much, so nobody knows.
Yeah, and it's, you know, he probably has deep love for his daughter regardless, and but you know, how do you it's so fucked up, man. You gotta clean it up, dude.
Was he in 78 though? Probably.
Yeah, you gotta clean it up. Well, yeah, but I mean, it was a little more widespread back then too, you know.
And Colonel, obviously, the Flash should have ran in reverse to get that interview back on track before it derailed. He didn't, though. And Dave says, I still actually laugh out loud at Wino. Fucking great. All right. A while back, or 10 days after this video from Tony Moran Unmasked was dropped on YouTube, Tony Moran ran an apology, or wrote an apology on Facebook. I'm going to put it on screen, let you guys read it. while we kind of discuss a couple of things, and hopefully you guys can see much of this.
Oh, you might have to make that full screen, folks, if you want to see that. Let's see.
I can
that
read
helps.
it.
That helps.
My screen is smaller a little bit.
I can't. Let me put the fucking cheaters on, man. Yeah.
Put your
There.
bifocals on, you old bastard.
I got it.
Do you want to just read it, or?
No, you read it.
Well, I was going to plug in the next couple of video clips.
Okay, I'll get a little closer then. Yep, we're falling apart over here. First and foremost, and most importantly for this post, is that I wanted to sincerely and deeply apologize for certain language I used. No punctuation at all in this fucking thing.
No.
That is contained in a video montage that was made of me. I will not explain the context nor give reasons or excuses. The certain language I use simply on its own, even without context, is deplorable and disgusting. I am deeply ashamed of it, and I always will be. I am very sorry for offending people with it, and I hope at some point I'll be forgiven, but I truly would understand if some people never do. Again, this is the number one reason for the post. I have a much lesser issue that I am going to address, so I appreciate your patience, and it's for the fans of Halloween that don't know me and have never met me. The people that have met me, know me, friends with me, don't have a need for me to explain the video clips in this montage. They know it's ridiculous and childish. The editing is pretty choppy, but impressive in the sense that how much time and energy this must have taken, because I know what I say in the interviews and conversation Q&As with fans present. But I want to clear some things up for you guys that don't know me. My main problem with this National Enquirer or any other gossip rag style of post is not really about defending myself, because it's so easy to find interviews of me. You would see that I almost have the exact same. I say the almost exact same thing in all of them. The truth, no one about. Let's see. The truth, it's no KNOW, not NO. Know this about fans of Halloween that may now have had. I think it's cutting off here. Hold on.
Yeah, you want me to take it?
Yeah, go ahead. Take it from there.
May have had a bad taste in their mouth or feel tainted by this montage. My loyalty is to the fans, whether I know them or not, and I will always defend them. Without you fans, the movie doesn't become what it became. Simple as that. I'll explain a couple of things. First, back in 1978, when I was 21 years old, did I think Halloween was going to be stupid and a piece of crap? Absolutely. I was actually ashamed of doing it at the time. And only my best friend and girlfriend knew about it at the time. I figured a week or two at the drive-in and it would be gone. You see, back in 78, it wasn't like this today. Back then, an inexpensive horror. We've already talked about all this. I'm skipping ahead. Now, because of this director's... I'm skipping ahead. Didn't go to... Yeah, we didn't really talk about any of that. All right. You'll have to watch or hear my full interviews to truly understand this and the truth. I am truly humbled by my fans, always have and always will be. You see, I didn't get lucky or fortunate, etc. I got completely blessed. There's no other word for that. Truly fits how I feel. That is why it's so humbling for me. Bar none, I've met the best, most genuine and unselfish people through horror cons. So, getting back to my point about defending fans. The person that I truly believe did this montage obviously doesn't have all of you fans in the best interest. If this person did, why go to these extreme efforts to lie to you? It will only be found out sooner or later. I understand this person's cowardliness not to identify themselves. The person would be exposed as a blatant liar, lose credibility, etc. And then it goes on to... This person has an all-encompassing and consuming obsession with me and has for years and couldn't help but put themselves in one of the video clips. This is where he's talking about, he thinks Sean Clark is Tony Moran Unmasked. And Sean Clark, like I pointed out, was in one of the video clips where he was interviewing him. Like I said again, I don't know what happened between 2005 when Sean Clark was helping Tony Moran get convention gigs and do interviews, and what's going on now, where they obviously have some kind of beef against each other. I don't know, but I digress and I continue. I used to get angry, but for a few years now, I simply find it sad and pathetic because of the editing, and people want to choose to believe if that's okay with me. People are going to do what they want to do or believe, even if there's facts to disprove it. There's people that judge all the time without facts. I can't change that, and I'm not going to try to shove it down people's throats to try to convince them to like this video montage is trying to do. As they say, haters are going to hate no matter what. It's their choice. That's how they want to live. Like I said earlier, this is not for me. This is for the people and the fans that don't know me and are hurt, angry, etc. because you're a fan of Halloween. I will always protect that. John Carpenter is a genius, and he changed the whole landscape, and I'm blessed to have been a part of it. This person I believe that did this is also using an 18-year-old to help him mainly through Instagram. I don't know what this is all about. I don't care. Actually taking advantage of an 18-year-old, this kid is posing as my fan page, which is not a fan page at all. I met this kid and even signed an autograph for him at a convention recently. Again, I don't know what any of this is about. It's despicable and really weird because of the obsession. Anyways, thank you guys for taking the time to read all this, and I hope this has helped some of you out there that had problems with it. Take care. Now, yes, did he lose money because of this video coming out? Yeah, he got canceled from a couple of conventions. Absolutely he did. Is that why he's apologizing? Probably. Because he needs that income. But we're getting to it, but there's a part where I kind of feel like he sincerely means that he is upset. Now, we're not going to know until we actually see him at a future con and see how he approaches a panel, how he approaches the fans. That's when I'm going to be given the proof that he's actually changed. Andy kind of reiterates what I said. I'm sorry, the stuff I said cost me money and employment. Let's please forget about it. Okay, thanks, Tony Moran. I know. Yeah, that's a possibility. I get it. I sense a little bit of sincerity, though. Lorena says, fuck that. He's sorry he got called out. Well, of course. But S. Michael says he should have pursued a career in screenwriting. He could have been the next Ed Wood. Oh, God. Lorena says, yo, don't do Ed Wood dirty like that. Angelo says, my loyalty is also to the money that I saw coming near with time. Yeah. Dave says, he says tainted, but the only taint I think of, or when I hear, not going to finish that. S. Michael says, I've struggled with racism and homophobia. On some level, I can empathize with this idiot, boomer speak, because of how I was raised. But that apology doesn't address his guilt as much as it tries to shift blame, so fuck him. God damn it. Shifted platforms. So, yes, this apology was pretty much just to the fans for what he said about them. Losers, nerds, blah, blah, blah. We are nerds. We can't take that as an insult. We are fucking horror nerds. I'm trying to get like every single signature on this. I'm going to try to get a bunch of signatures on this. Does that make me a nerd? Yes.
Will you let Tony Moran sign that one if we run into him?
Not that one, because he's not in that one.
Oh, that's true.
But
it's not a main one.
Right. But yeah, I'll have a major Halloween poster and have him sign that. So, see? Boom. Luke, we are nerds. Nerds! I wish I had that clip right now.
I don't have that one.
Proud nerds. Now, that's the bulk of the TMU video that we've played now and the apology. There are more clips. I want you to go and watch the whole Tony Moran Unmasked video because he gets into more of his beefs with Eric Estrada, Scott Baio. There's some other questionable behavior on there. He even talks about Blumhouse and how they want us to, or how they wanted to use the Halloween 1 footage of him. And he says he bitch slapped them because that's all you got to do to the Hollywood guys and they'll give you money. Yeah,
that was throwaway though. That whole thing was not even that bad. He was just making colorful, like, oh yeah, I just tried to tell them. So that's how you handle Blumhouse. You got to go in and smack him around a little bit. He was just doing it almost Joe Pesci style again, you know. But when you hear that story, he's just saying like, oh, you know, he ends up getting paid, and then instead of credited as Michael Myers, it's a special thanks to Tony Moran at the being just kind of a fuck you from the Halloween Kills filmmakers, you know?
Mm-hmm. So, in his apology, he apologizes to the fans, but he doesn't apologize specifically to Jamie Lee Curtis, John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, or Tyler Mane. That's unacceptable. I mean, he, at some point, and he has now, at least through Danielle, apologized to 3 of those people, but there still seems to be some kind of issue between him and Tyler Mane. Now, I don't have a video of this, but he says while he was at that con that the 2 shitty podcasters from, I think, 2018, when he was at that convention, Tyler Mane was there as well, and he heard from another fan that Tyler Mane had said something kind of disrespectful about him. And that was why he was irritated about it. And I don't know if he's ever necessarily spoken to Tyler Mane or what, but when they started asking and talking about Tyler Mane being there, he let his anger out. And like I think, he was drunk. He didn't say he was drunk, but he did mention this in Danielle's live Instagram tonight. So, but he didn't apologize about the Tyler Mane shit. So maybe he is still a cocksucker in his eyes. I don't know, but.
Well, you know what we got to do, man? We're going to have to ask the tough questions next week or this coming weekend.
Yep.
And
we got Tyler Mane.
I doubt we'll get anything out of Danielle Harris or Tyler Mane regarding this. I expect a no comment, but we're going to ask. We have to.
Right. Speaking of Danielle Harris, at Days of the Dead Indianapolis, she decided to step in, and she wanted to give Tony Moran a chance to clear the air. But did she? Let's see.
You know, I got canceled with this Scare Fest, and I was talking to Danielle earlier, and she wanted to record this. I don't think I ever have to, like, post something to prove who I am or whatever, but I love my fans. And you're the same way, because every fan I've talked to that's met you, they go that you're the best with them. You really understand. Yeah, we're on the same page about that. And so it means a lot to me that, not that I have to make somebody like me that hates me, it has nothing to do about that, but I just like the truth. I really believe in the truth. So I posted on Scarefest a Q&A that I did in Chicago a few months back, and I've been saying the same thing since 2007, that I'm not really religious, but I'm the most blessed guy walking the earth because I got picked for this role in one of the most iconic movies horror movies ever made.
Yeah, we get to do this with the best fans in the world. How many? I mean, I get shocked that I'm sitting here 30 years later talking about it.
No, it's such a beautiful thing, right?
You know? It's crazy.
It's just, who gets to live our lives? Not many people. So, like you, I like to give it back to my fans. And so when people start hating on me and like doing this kind of thing, and I know who's behind that video that they made, the chopped up video. I know who did it. But
you have to tell me off the record.
I will. But it's so I went further than I ever did. I posted this video of a Q&A. And if you just watch it, I make fun of myself because back in 1978, if you did a horror movie, that's just one step higher than doing a porno.
Right.
Because that's the only way to see nudity. So producers and directors look down on you. So I was ashamed of it back then. And throughout this whole thing, I make fun of myself because I'm the joke of not knowing how important horror movies are. I do now, but
How when you saw someone posting that, were you just heartbroken?
You can talk to my girlfriend. No,
were you angry about it? I probably felt both things.
No, I wasn't really angry. No, it doesn't make me angry until like way. I cried, and I'll be honest with you. My girlfriend will tell you the truth because she doesn't lie about anything. I just cried about it. And I could start. Look at it.
All right. So again, he kind of apologizes for what he said about the fans, but they don't address any of the more core issues. So did Danielle have any right, or was she the right person to step in and try to do something, or was What do you think she was doing there, Ziggy?
I think she is trying to step in, and maybe she's hung out with him over the years at these cons and stuff. And I don't know, she seemed compelled to get in there and back him up, probably seeing him or hearing that he's like, fuck, I'm getting canceled on all these fucking things. What am I going to do to get this stuff cleared up? So,
yeah. Like I said, they don't go into many details, but he does say, how much he loves his fans. It's God damn it, Dave. I'm not even going to mention what Colonel's talking about there.
He's must have a couple of beers up there or something, man. Where the fuck he's at?
I'm assuming he is. Can we block ourselves from the comments?
Oh, man, jeez, us.
Michael Myers are fighting. That's from Dave. Luke says he looks like Horace Pinker.
Does look like a larger Horace Pinker.
Yeah. Andy says his head kind of looks like Eddie on Iron Maiden's Piece of Mind cover art. Not to be slanderous or anything. Angelo says, okay, here he seems more sincere, but still a douchebag. Andy says, wow, turns out he's sensitive and shit. That sounds a little sarcastic, Andy. And Dave says, I wish Loomis had more bullets. That's funny. That's really funny. Now, yeah, I mean, you can disbelieve the sincerity in that part of the video if you wish, but the video goes on. And this is a smaller snippet, and there's not much to it, I don't think, but check this out. This is more from Danielle and Tony at Days of the Dead, Indianapolis on Friday, I believe.
I also made a whole apology for my language on Facebook. I did a whole thing and did a whole, because I'm ashamed of my language, of what I said,
It's over many years, though. We all grow and change and get better and work on ourselves and, you know.
But I still was ashamed of myself. And that's not who I am now, but that's not the point. I needed to apologize, too, and for my language. But I'm blown away that you did this for me. I can't believe you would do such a thing.
I just want everyone to hear what you have to say, You're a good guy. You're a good guy. I know. I'm sure it's been rough. I know.
You know how we feel about our fans, right?
Of course.
Back then, we're nobody, man. We're nobody.
Are
and when
100% right.
Tell me they hate me and shit. What the fuck? You don't even know me.
You can't watch the second part of that video and not say that man is not broken because of what he's been going through over the last couple of months. Now, did he deserve it? He deserved some of it, yeah. He deserved to be called out for using the F word and oh, come on now, Andy. I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, they do deserve to get called out for some of the things they say, but there's so much more to this than the 26-minute compilation video in Tony Moran Unmasked. That's all I've been trying to say. Again, for the 30th time probably, not trying to make excuses for Tony Moran. I don't know the fellow. Never met him. I don't know. But
so here's the question then. I mean, how many we got to go before we wrap up the video portions and stuff?
One more video.
One more video. Okay, and we can sum this up.
Yep.
All
right. So, as Michael says, hard to witness a washed-up C-lister self-destruct. I honestly hope he figures this shit out and finds redemption. I'm glad Danielle tried to help him out. She's a class act. Yeah. Did Danielle try to help?
I think so. I think that's the intent.
But is she trying to help for other purposes?
Such as?
Well, I mean, she's done 3 videos in the last 3 days, gotten 20,000 hits on Instagram alone. I'm not saying that she is, but, and they're also planning to do a live watch of Halloween, like Rob Zombie's Halloween, because he's never seen it, and,
He said he never would.
Right. Boom, 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 boom. So I love Danielle too. Fuck. But I think she's trying to, the fact that he was there, I think she's trying to capitalize on this a little bit.
Well, maybe. And that's something we can address.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Andy says, wow, an actor can cry on cue. That was the one I was laughing at before I posted it. Dave said, that looked funny when she was rubbing down there. The table was perfectly placed. I mean, his leg. Yes. For
God's sake.
God damn it, Dave. Lorena says, yeah, that's the thing. There are consequences to actions, particularly for assholes. Yep. Angela says, I'm going to get some tissue. Now, I'm not telling you to cry for the guy. Just there's more to the story, goddammit. People aren't perfect. This is from Luke. All we can do is strive to do better or be better from our mistakes. Yep. S. Michael says, no such thing as bad press, eh? Interesting theory. Yeah. I mean, we're covering it too. I get it. But
well, yeah.
You know, we're covering it from slightly different perspective, though. Lorena says, does she really need the promo, though? Fans love her. That's the thing. She's actually getting a little bit of backlash for defending Tony Moran. Between Friday and Saturday, she did at least. And that's the next video I'll show you. Andy says, it's kind of tough, I suppose, when you don't figure it out. When you don't figure out it's not okay to act a certain way until it's you. I always say often a negative example is the most powerful example of how not to be. Yeah, absolutely. Now, like I said, Danielle got a little backlash between Friday night when she posted that post or that video, and then Saturday. They're still at the same con together in Indianapolis. Saturday night, she posts this, and this I think this was probably one of the longer videos. It's a little over 4 minutes, but the video itself goes on for 12. I cut it off because it was just nothing after this. Here we go.
I know there's been a lot of conversation about my interview, whatever you want to call it, with Tony Moran yesterday. Just to set the record straight, I am not Team Tony by any means. Okay? My intention, because I had not seen Tony at all since I saw that video that was made, and I don't hang out with Tony. I see him at conventions. He's called me, I think, 3 times in my life to talk to me about a role. This is about 2 years ago. I have been well aware of Tony's bad behavior at conventions, and I've also seen another really kind side to him over the years. So I saw him sit down. I never come down early for conventions. I just so happened to come down early because I knew it was going to be crazy yesterday. So anyone that's been to a show of mine that I'm at knows I'm down about a half an hour after it starts because I'm just kind of getting myself together. I came down a half an hour before it started yesterday, and it was already really crowded. And Tony was sitting there without people, and I thought, you know what? All that popped into my mind was, I haven't seen him. He talked a lot of shit about the fans. I'm going to go confront him. I'm going to go ask him what that was all about. And I was only thinking about defending the fans because that's what I was seeing. That's what I was looking at. I guarantee you if Tyler was sitting there, the conversation would have probably come up. But what happened was I went over to his table. I wanted to get an authentic, off-guard, it was a horrible place to do it, but I knew that it would be real. I didn't want to tell him I was going to do it. I hadn't had any conversation with him. So I went over to him. I sat down. I said, what the fuck is that about? What's the situation with the tape? And he was like, oh, and he started to go into this whole story. And I said, you know what? Hold on a second. I want the fans to hear this. So I turned it on. I'm just so used to calling him my good buddy Tony. I just didn't even think about it. And I didn't come in with an ulterior motive. I didn't come in being aggressive. I came in being open to hearing what he had to say. And what I was hoping that he would say is what he said, which is, I fucked up and I'm deeply sorry and I apologize. The conversation went on a little bit longer than I thought it would, to the point where I thought it'd be like a 2-minute conversation and then we would see where it would go and then I could address these other things with him, because I was hoping he'd be honest with me and feel safe with me and that you guys would want to hear it. Because guess what? I didn't see his Facebook apology. I don't follow him on Facebook. We are not friends like that. So I had no idea that he had even made this public apology, that he'd made this video and took this video down. I never heard him apologize to you guys. So my only intention was to go over there and have him in front of me apologize to you for the things that he said. Now, he didn't get to finish saying those things because I cut him off, because he was talking a lot and it started to be redundant, and I had a line at my table and I just said, okay, you've learned from your mistakes, right, Tony? We all learn when we grow, right? And I shut the video off.
Yeah. So, see, I don't know. I can't fault Danielle for wanting to possibly help, but A, it wasn't the right place to do it. She even says so, you know. B, there's other ways to do it, I think. What do you think, Ziggy?
She probably could have done that by phone call, really, honestly, if it was that authentic and that she cared that much about hearing what he had to say. Could have got that call. She could have did that from computer, right from where she was sitting.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I like the fact that she, and she references it again later, but I like the fact that she references, I know all too well about Tony's bad behavior at cons. Later on in that same video, I think she references in a way where she's like, he's had some bad nights at conventions and days, you know, again, which is another signal to me that this guy's got a severe drinking problem and just needs to stay out of the fucking bar when he's at a fucking convention. But that's just me, because you can tell the differences when he's had a few drinks and his demeanor is so much bigger and louder and assholier. S. Michael says, I could watch her read the phone book. I know. Luke says, he saw this video, and Tanya's in here. She says, yes, my hair. Yes, it'll be back. Give it a month. What do you guys think? Are we analyzing this the right way, or is Tony Moran just a complete asshole? I'm not asking you, Unmasked, if you're still here. I know your opinion. I get it. But, I mean, yes, is Tony an asshole? Yes, he admits it. He says he is. But is he an asshole to his fans? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But, and that the question that comes to my mind is, so, okay, how long do we crucify him for his sins? How long is the sentence? Is it forever? Is it a couple of years? What do we just give him a penalty? Just keep an ear and an eye on him, make sure he's not running his mouth. I mean, how long? What's a good sentence for this?
Mm-hmm.
Or has he suffered enough?
Like you said, I can't wait until we get to a convention where he is, because, dude, I will ask him. Like, oh yeah, all right, tell us your beef with Tyler Maine. Why? Why would you sit there and call him a cocksucker 12 times in 2 minutes and other things that, why? What do you got against him? You guys weren't in a movie together. He was in a movie that you said you wouldn't even watch, you know.
Stupid drunk logic, you know what I mean? I was Michael Myers first. Without me, he can't be Michael Myers. Could he?
Yeah. Well, you know. Ari Lehman was Jason first too, but that doesn't make him God, according to one of our
people.
recent guests. I'm all for giving people second chances. Also, I think most people deserve it. And once you start asking for like third and fourth chances, then go fuck yourself. But you know, it's a weird thing, man. You know, yeah, I don't want to crucify the guy any more than he already has been. So, let's see. Tanya says, "Nah, I like the hair. Thank you." Okay. Lorena says, "Alcohol is just going to kill what little filter he has when sober. It's not going to make him express opinions he doesn't otherwise have." Yeah, I'm aware of that. But like I said, you know, I grew up using questionable language as well, but I'm able to not say it most of the time anymore. I changed my ways. Andy says, people often say, "Yeah, I'm an asshole." Like that somehow makes it okay.
Right, yeah. You know,
Well, it doesn't necessarily make it okay, but you should expect it, I think is the idea. You know, you should expect them not to be caring or compassionate or have much human decency. So I think that's kind of what that means. Luke says other people can come back to conventions. He'll be back. Yep. Oh. Andy says, yeah, lots of women say, "I'm a bitch. What of it?" Exactly. Lorena, are you one of those people?
Yeah, right.
Just or let me rephrase that question. Andy, is Lorena one of those people? Kiara says, "I don't mean this in a bad way, but I hope he suffered enough to know what he said was wrong and learn the effects it has on you and the people around him. It's not always about canceling people. It's holding them accountable until they learn enough." That's why I wanted to show that second part of that first video that Danielle did, because I mean, you can say he's acting if you want to, Andy, or anybody else that may have made a comment like that. But I think he has suffered. I think he did feel bad about it. Did he learn? We won't know until we see him in another panel and somebody videotapes it or we're there and these questions get asked or those stories come up. And let's see if he's changed the stories. If he keeps telling the stories the same way, then, yeah, I don't know.
He's got to ditch those couple of stories that he was telling, though. I mean, that's got to be old, man. Hopefully he learned that.
One of them, I've only been able to find that he told once was the John Carpenter and Deborah Hill story. And that was, like I said, when he was a little trashed. I couldn't find it again, but that's just me. Oh, shit. S. Michael, I think, is where I was at. Layman is also a douche, according to certain sources. Yeah, we talked about that last week. We heard.
Yeah.
Lorena says, how many chances does 3 seconds of screen time warrant? Good question.
No. I stick to the whole thing. He's part of that whole legacy. Like it or not, he's in with all of them. 3 seconds or not, he was there. It's his fucking face with an eye poked out when the mask comes off. It's him. So, I mean, he's part of it. Like it or not.
Yeah. Let me jump ahead here because I see Unmasked is back. He says, may I share my takeaway from today's interview he did with Danielle? Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, that's what we're talking about. So, yeah, jump on that, and I'll come back to it, but I'm going to hit some more of these comments because that's what we do here. We like to talk to the fans out here that are watching. Angelo says, so, lesson of the night. Words are important. Yes. Keep that in mind, kids. But I think Tony learned his shit. Here's hoping. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see on it, man. It's unfortunately.
Yeah. Andy says, in today's society, you apologize and you are redeemed. Maybe.
I think he's got to demonstrate a new track record of not being a fucking asshole, and then, yeah, for sure.
He was in Danielle's chat today. He was getting a lot of people, saying, you know what, Tony, you sound sincere. I believe you're, maybe a little misunderstood, and I forgive you, I think Unmasked was one of the ones in there that was like, yeah, I don't forgive you. But, again, that's
Right, though,
fine.
man. Nobody's right or wrong here at all in this debate anyway here tonight.
No, it's just like I keep saying. There's
Sorting it out, man. That's all.
There's more to the story. So, Lorena says, you change your stance on things, Crank. You've changed the way you think and approach people. It's different. Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, that was from years ago. That was like in the 70s and 80s. And so it was, for me at least, I think as a younger person, it was a little easier. If I was in my 60s and I was trying to change the way, I thought about things or the language I used, I don't know. Andy says, especially if you cry online. Yeah. Lorena says, I'm a raging hair controlling bitch. Oh shit. Well, I'm glad I just cut mine. You can't get it now. Well, there's still enough to grab if you need it. All right. Luke says, yeah, those stories got to go. Unmasked says, I don't think many are realizing this. Yeah, we're figuring it out. Dave says he needs to stand in the corner like Blair Witch. There you go. Colonel, God damn it. How drunk are you, Colonel? What did I miss? Damn enchiladas.
Damn enchiladas.
God damn it. S. Michael says, serious question. Has he fucked up bad enough that you'd refuse to add a Myers mask with his signature on it to your collection? I think most fans say no. There's a handful of fans that would say no. Sure. Unmasked says he never retracted any of his statements about Jamie Lee Curtis or John Carpenter. I beg to differ on that one. I think he did. I think he apologized for him, and he said he wasn't. And you do say he only confirmed that he said those things with no evidence. He did say that, but I'm pretty sure he apologized for them. Maybe not retracted, but I thought I saw something in there. But Unmasked says, LOL, I actually never said anything in there. I'm pretty sure I saw a comment from you when Danielle was saying something about, well, all the fans are forgiving you. I'm pretty sure I saw a comment from you that said, not all of us or something like that. I could be wrong. But
there could be another Tony Moran demasked or something. Maybe it was close. Who knows?
I don't know. I don't know. And again, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought you commented. Faye says, oh Lord, I come back to talk on cancel culture. I should have seen it coming. Well, he definitely lined himself up for it. With the way the internet works these days, you can't get away with anything anymore. In a way, it's a good thing, but it has caused some folks to be falsely accused of severe shit on way too many occasions. In this case, it seems that Tony is in the middle ground where he's not quite canceled yet, but a lot of people are pissed. Yeah. So, I say yes because this is Colonel again. I say yes because Nick Castle was Michael Myers. This clown portrayed him for just a few seconds. S. Michael says, I'm a completist, so he would get that. Damn it. Colonel's not drunk? That's the problem? Gee, yeah. Fuck, Colonel. You need to go get some beers. 18 shots. Unmasked says he once again could have said something like, I was drunk and said stupid stuff, sorry. Now see, there's also the thing. He's never said anything like drunk or drinking or anything. That's one question I want to ask him. Do you have a fucking drinking problem? Can you admit that? Because I don't know if it's drinking or drugs or what, but there's something that can affect him from certain points of the day to other points. And again, not trying to make excuses for him, but there's something there. Instead, he attached things for sympathy to everything. His daughter being gay, his parents abusing him. It's like, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember the parent thing. Man, I hope she makes that video public again instead of it just being a one-shot thing, or that maybe somebody screenshot it, because I want to go back and watch that again.
So Unmasked. I have a question for Unmasked here.
Okay. Oh, wait. He has one more comment here. He says, you're totally right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right. Because I'm a journalist. No,
Vindication. Let me ask you: is there an end to this for you on this? Is it a lifetime ban? This guy, you're done with him in the human race. It's it. No redemption. No forgiveness. That's it. He's done. Or do you see yourself up the road, maybe running into him again, seeing he's changed if he has? Is there a chance for forgiveness with you? And it's cool if it isn't. That's fine, man. I understand.
Or let me add on to that question. If you personally know him somehow, would him apologizing to you or making things right with you with whatever may have happened in the past with you allow you to forgive him? There's a question. Yeah.
Right. That's, yeah. Go ahead with the next one.
Yep. Unmasked while he's thinking about answering those questions, if he does. And by the way, Unmasked, thank you for jumping in and being part of this tonight. Yeah. Tony even went on to describe her supposed black eye. Yes, Deborah Hill's black eye. He pretty much just apologized for saying these things without evidence. He also claims they are 10-year-old interviews. Most are quite recent.
Right. 3 to 5 years. Yeah. We put it together like that.
I agree. They're not 10 years old, but yeah. And I do remember him describing the black eye. I could have swore I heard some kind of apology. Again, I could be wrong, but I was right about your comment.
And that's a story again that why on earth would you think that anybody would want to hear about that? A beloved director, you know what I mean? And a writer that's man. This tandem has written some of the greatest fucking horror in our lifetimes. And you're going to sit here and shit on him like that? Of course you're going to get crucified, bro. Damn.
Yeah. All right. Dave, we got to wrap this up pretty soon. We've been going a little bit longer than I thought we would, but there was a lot to cover here. Dave says he will never see happy days with this behavior. Well, no pun. Well, maybe. That's good. I like that. And Unmasked reaction is, that's not really for me to say. I'm one person in a sea of Halloween and horror fans in general who he has both hurt and upset. I just want people to become aware of who they were giving money to. Okay.
Yeah, man, that's fair as fuck. I you know what?
Yeah.
Goddamn respect, man. Totally.
So 2 years down the road, if he's back doing more conventions and he's telling the stories differently and he's leaving out the inflammatory parts of some of these stories, like the slanderous parts, Carpenter Hill, the sordid stories. And maybe even on stage at a multiple film Halloween panel with Tyler Mane on one end and him on the other, he publicly apologizes to Tyler Mane. Would that make any difference to you, or do you think that should make a difference to the overall sea of Halloween and horror fans if all those instances occur in the next, let's say, 2 years? That's my last question for Unmasked. And then S. Michael says, I noticed Paula Deen was a guest on MasterChef recently. See, apology tours can pay off. Time heals all wounds. Yep. I think Mel Gibson has even had some work recently. Oh, God.
Both of them fuckheads talk some shit, too, man. Boy, oh, boy. Oh, Jesus. Look at the next one.
God damn it. S. Michael, are you drinking? When are you guys having Bill Cosby on the show?
Come on, man. You know what?
No.
Cross the line, man.
Actually, you know what? I got one for you.
I quit. I quit. I quit. I quit, Mr. White.
There you go. That's for S. Michael. Quit.
All right. I think we have one more comment from Unmasked, and then we'll start wrapping this up. He says, I'd be quite pleasantly surprised to see something like that.
Fair, man.
Yeah. Damn it. He didn't quite. Unmasked says, as I think most would.
Right.
Would that change your mind? Would that be enough? you kind of left me hanging there. So I know I said that was my last question a minute ago, but
wasn't quite pleasantly surprised to see something like that. That vaguely answers your question, I think.
Okay, let me see. Faye says, I still say fuck Paula Deen.
What about Mel Gibson?
What about Mel Gibson and Bill Cosby? I definitely say fuck Bill Cosby.
Him too. Oh,
Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can get to this. Wait, what would you say to Paula Deen?
Fuck you.
there. Yeah. Tune in next week for Paula Deen, Bill Cosby, and Mel Gibson on Death Curse Society.
No. All right. Dave says, good show, gents. This one was extra awesome. Thanks. Faye says, fuck them too. And S. Michael says, I would not fuck Paula Deen. All right. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm not sure we're going to get any more out of Unmasked. Again, Unmasked, thank you for jumping in and being part of this. And yeah, thanks for doing that video. It opened a few people's eyes.
Listen, we're going to stay on this. We are going to speak with Danielle Harris this weekend and Tyler Main. And we come up with anything, man, we'll have you back on. We'll see what we can get further into this, man. Anytime.
Yeah. Man, I had a lot of fun with this, surprisingly, because I love the deep dives, the big important, well, maybe not important, but the big stories. So I appreciated kind of the research and the, the perspective, if you will, of this one. And I just miss doing journalism. So,
this week, a controversial Death Curse Society.
Yeah. What is next week? Oh, we can't. Colonel is doing.
Colonel is flying solo next week because Crank and I will be wrapping up OKC HorrorCon. I'll be in the fucking air. He'll be driving back from the airport. So you get Colonel all by himself. Enjoy, folks.
God. I hope he is drunk that night.
Man. This could be epic.
Yeah, it could be.
You know what? He could be sitting next to Tony Moran after next week's show. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe that's who we should get to come on.
Holy shit.
So, guys, I want to thank our members. Watch out, Ziggy. Thanks to our final girls, Chris, Lorena, Christy, Luke, and Tyrone, our crazy Ralphs, Angelo and Peter, and our camp counselors, which has gone up by one recently, Corey Clement, S. Michael, and Dave Smithson. Thank you guys for supporting the DCS. If you want to support the DCS, you can too. Oh, did you get a little extra clap in there?
Well, claps for the folks that were joining the club. Thank you.
Excellent. You can support the DCS too at deathcursesociety.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and all that good stuff. And I can't find the video I need. There it is. I'm just talking to Stahl. You know how this goes. Any cool comments come in that I need to hit?
Everyone's saying good night, pretty much.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll keep keeping track of the Tony Moran, especially Tyler Mann and Danielle Harris parts of the story. And we got lots of stuff coming to you from Death Curse Society over the next couple weeks. So
let me just say this too, man. Pay attention this weekend. We'll be doing some live breaks from Oklahoma HorrorCon. It's going to be fucking sick, man. I don't know who we're going to have or what we're going to have, but just be ready for it. It's all coming your way. We're going to tape this whole fucking thing. We're going to stomp all over this place. Should be a lot of fun, and I can't wait, man. Me and Crank in Oklahoma, it's going to be sick.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be sick, man.
You guys have no idea what we're going to it's going to be so fun. For Colonel, who's not here, let me go ahead and say, I'm going to change it a little bit, though. Don't get sick, get your stick, and wash your dick. And for Zigzag, thank you for watching. This is Red Crank from Death Curse Society. And for Tony Moran Unmasked, thank you again one more time for jumping in and joining us tonight. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. We'll see you in a couple weeks. I don't know when we'll see you. Just stay tuned. Fuck! I'm just
DCS out!
Woo!
Wow!